now ruled out using force.
This would not be a threat to NATO. This would greatly enhance the security of the entire alliance, the NATO alliance. The United States is treated very unfairly by NATO. I want to tell you that.
Chris McDermott says no one is more surprised than him that he's running in the upcoming state election. He'll be on the ballot for Sarah Game's Fair Go for Australians party in the seat of Dunstan. The legendary footballer and coach and man behind the Little Heroes Foundation says he has a long history in the electorate.
I'm largely knowledge in this area through and through. My kids went to school at Marrickville Primary, at Pembroke. I shop at Foodland. I love walking up and down the parade. It's just been a really big part of my life.
2 police officers have been assaulted during an arrest at the Australian Open. Police intervened yesterday at Melbourne Park when a man was being abusive and aggressive towards security guards while trying to enter an arena. The man was told to leave but refused to, then assaulted 2 police officers while being arrested. The 67-year-old from New South Wales was escorted outside and is expected to be charged. The 2 police officers were not injured. Now turning to FIVEAA Sport.
Order a new Gliderol garage door before the end of Feb and the operator is free. T's and C's apply.
It's good morning to Tom Wren.
And a very good morning to you as well, Mel. We'll start with tennis, but on the court action from last night, Aussie Alex de Minaur has pulled off a come-from-behind win at the Oz Open. The 6th seed defeating the big-hitting Serbian Hamad Medjedovic 6-7, 6-2, 6-2, 6-1.
Just stay patient. I weathered the storm. He was playing some unbelievable tennis, serving great, hitting the ball from the baseline really big and deep and not really allowing me much to do much.
Audio there thanks to 9. de Minaur now faces big-hitting American Francis Tiafoe in the 3rd round tomorrow. Several other Aussies, though, have been knocked out, including Jordan Thompson, Storm Hunter and Isla Tomljanovic. Let's get to football. Adelaide midfielder Dan Curtin will have surgery to repair a dislocated kneecap. The club had waited for a couple of days before deciding to go down that path. It's expected he'll be back somewhere between rounds 7 and 9. To cricket now, the Hobart Hurricanes are through to the Big Bash Challenger final after a thrilling 3-1 win against the Melbourne Stars. In a rain-reduced match, the Stars needed 5 to win off the final ball and 4 for a tie, but Hilton Cartwright could only manage a single, which means the Stars' season is now over. The Hurricanes will take on the Sydney Sixers tomorrow night for a spot against the Perth Scorchers in the BBL Grand Final. Briefly elsewhere, Melbourne United has smashed the Brisbane Bullets 98-66 in the NBL, and European Champions League action will begin in the next half hour with Liverpool, Chelsea and Newcastle all in action. And that's the FIVEAA Sport.
Now the FIVEAA forecast.
With lots of C-Max trials to choose from, there's something for everyone. Visit cmax.com.au and register today.
Sunny for your Thursday, a top of 27. Sunny tomorrow, 35. Saturday, mostly sunny, 42. Back to 34 and sunny on Sunday. Right now, it's 14 degrees on FIVEAA, always Adelaide.
Gliderol Garage Doors have been manufacturing and installing garage doors direct to South Australians for over 50 years. So, if the new year's got you thinking about freshening up your home, order a new Gliderol Garage Door with operator before the end of February and the operator is free. Safety, security and style. Built to last and made right here. Call 1300 799 177 for a free measure and quote or visit gliderol.com.au. Retail customers only. T's and C's apply.
Steinborner Automotive in Gawler, Nuriutpa and Clare has always been well worth a trip. Even more so with their 42nd birthday sale. Steinborner has purchased over 400 certified vehicles, SUVs and 4x4s, all with free roadside assist. And ripped $500,000 off normal prices across the range with $1,500 trade-in bonus on all trade-ins. Plus, deals on new and demo Hyundai, Ford, Mitsubishi, Jack and Mazda. Visit steinborner.com.au.
Still thinking about a sea change? Think Oakford Homes in Counter Bay. New stage released and selling fast. A variety of block sizes available in a friendly community with brand new low maintenance homes plus the beach close by. Affordable packages, no surprises. Move in now or invest for the future. Fixed price turnkey packages, flat land ready to build. Don't miss out. New stage now released. Visit our display village at Encounter Bay. Oakford Homes, a statement of quality. oakfordhomes.com.au.
Healthy soil is the key to a thriving garden. Good soil needs a mix of organic matter, nutrients and biology, all of which you will find in Chock-a-Block, a new super compost from Nutrog. Chock-a-Block is a unique blend of nutrition, microbes and humates with absolutely no green waste, meaning it's consistent all year round. Chock-a-Block, easy to remember as it's literally chock-a-block full of goodness. Look out for the green and gold bale in your local hardware or garden centre.
When it comes to reducing pain and rebuilding strength, Kiesa leaves nothing to chance. Our university-qualified health professionals don't just treat problem areas. They design personalised training programs using Swiss-engineered machines unique to Kiesa. These machines safely isolate the affected area, test your strength, and help rebuild your muscles for a stronger, more active and healthier life. Kiesa, building strength with precision in Norwood and Glenelg.
You're not getting bored with this, right? I hope you don't.
Live from Hindmarsh Square, it's FIVEAA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
9 minutes after 6, good morning to you and welcome to Thursday on FIVEAA Breakfast, the 22nd of January. Feels like the calm before the storm of hot weather coming this weekend. Not 1, but 2 days of 40-degree maximums in our very near future. It's going to be a scorching hot Australia Day long weekend. We'll be talking about that over the course of the morning. We'll get the very latest from the Bureau. Who knows, we might have another one by the time we get to 6:45 this morning. We're off to Europe. We'll be chatting with Ben Downey for 7, who is in Davos, Switzerland, for the World Economic Forum. Donald Trump has just spoken. We'll play some of what he had to say about Greenland, his ambitions for that Danish state and more very, very shortly. Also coming up on the program, late yesterday, we got a call from someone who said the trains had been stopped because of a very ugly incident that had taken place out in the line. We learnt subsequent that it was a kid on a scooter that got hit, and the questions have been raised again about the safety of e-scooters, riding them to school, what the legalities are and so forth. We're getting into that after 7 o'clock today. Matt Abraham is going to be cannot miss radio today. He's always can't miss radio, but today, with the coalition crumbling all around, we'll get some news on that at about 8 o'clock this morning, by the way. And indeed, a state election campaign that's well and truly up and running at the moment. He is going to be absolutely unmissable. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, listeners. I hope you're all doing better than Susan Lee is this morning. The coalition is now dead in the water. Every single National Party MP, including the Nationals leader, has said, I'm out of here. So it is no more.
It's over.
It's the end. Great headline on the front of the Tiser this morning, Nats all folks. And the trigger for all of this is twofold, the gun buyback stuff, which the Nats bleed about, but more importantly, it was the hate speech legislation where, a cynic might say that Labor did an absolutely superb job of wedging the coalition on these issues of freedom of speech, whether the laws went far enough, whether they went too far. You had people...
Well, and aided by Susan Lee, who demanded they come back early for Parliament.
Yeah.
Without getting her ducks in a row internally.
Well, it's just been a total schmozzle.
Completely.
I mean, if Conservatives are trying to say, this was a trick laid by Albo, well, crikey, you all fell for it, didn't you? It was the most obvious sucker punch in the world. But I think it was a trap of their own making too. And
completely.
It's hard to... you don't have to think too long about why One Nation's vote's going up.
Well, the other thing is, I think when you talk about the things that led to this, the One Nation vote, I think it looms large behind the Nationals' decision making. I saw Anthony Green yesterday make the observation that if it does bear out at a federal election, that One Nation polls 20% of the primary vote. In large parts of Queensland and in lots of national seats, that'll be about 40% One Nation.
Totally.
So a big motivating factor, I think, is that news poll.
They'll just rebrand themselves as One Nation.
Well, I think there may be some defections. They certainly.
Yeah, exactly.
I think there's a lot of that's currently going on within the Nationals Party. So it's just more tumult for the coalition. Speaking of polls, I saw one of the most extraordinary poll numbers I've ever seen yesterday. Freshwater put out a poll about Donald Trump in Australia. His favourability. I think this is really interesting. So 21% of people have a favourable view of Donald Trump in Australia. That's down 4 points from the last time they conducted the poll in mid-October. Unfavourable up 4, 65%. Neutral, unsure, 13%. 1% of Australians have never heard of Donald Trump.
Never?
Never heard of Donald Trump. And it got me thinking, because I would suggest...
Surely that can't be right.
Who are these people? Who is the most famous person on planet Earth? Because if you asked me at first blush, I would say Donald Trump. I bet you could walk into any village in Argentina to Somalia and Russia, and they all know who Donald Trump is.
I would have thought so.
1% of Australians don't. If it's not him, who is it? 8223 Who is the most famous? Who would be the most famous person on earth? Could you get 100% name recognition on?
I reckon Ronaldo and Messi would be up there.
Yeah, Messi was the first that came to mind for me.
Yeah, because they sort of transcend nationalities. Kids go berserk for them.
It's popular in every country in the world.
Soweto to, Honduras. Like everyone, soccer being the great unifying force.
I thought of one that I had to ask you about because you're the expert here. Does Taylor Swift enter the conversation?
No, I don't think so.
Think so? Where would she have a black spot?
I don't think Africa's her strong suit.
Possibly not.
She's never played a show there as far as I can gather. She's played shows in Buenos Aires, Mexico City. She's huge in Latin America.
I think she'd have good recognition in Asia.
Yeah, Asia, big time.
Okay.
Big time.
Let's take some suggestions. Who would be the most famous person on earth? It might be Donald Trump. If you think it is him, who's the second most? 8223 Text us on 0480 1395. He is making headlines again overnight. Of course, the World Economic Forum in Davos in Switzerland, where eventually in a long speech about NATO, about economic policy and so forth, he got to talking about Greenland.
Psychologically, who the hell wants to defend a license agreement? All we want from Denmark for national and international security and to keep our very energetic and dangerous potential enemies at bay is this land on which we're going to build the greatest golden dome ever built.
He also, the one heartening component of the speech, despite not stepping back from the ambition to acquire Greenland, for want of a better phrase, annex, you might have said once upon a time.
Annex.
He said he won't use force.
We probably won't get anything unless I decide to use excessive strength and force, but I won't do that because people thought I would use force. I don't have to use force. I don't want to use force. I won't use force.
He was doing the full weave, by the way. There was a couple of odd moments that people have raised eyebrows at, including this one.
And then after the war, which we won it big. Without us, right now you'd all be speaking German and a little Japanese, perhaps.
Now, presumably speaking to the leaders there, because, of course, Davos in Switzerland, native German speakers.
Yeah.
In Switzerland, the German side speaks German and the French side speaks French, so they're all currently native German speakers. And then he seemed to have some trouble with Iceland and Greenland at various points.
Europe, I'm helping NATO, and I've until the last few days when I told them about Iceland, they loved me. They called me daddy, right, last time. A very smart man said, he's our daddy. He's running it. I was like running it. I went from running it to being a terrible human being.
So it was the full weave. He was up there for a long, long time. It was unscripted. It was.
So is there some breakfast show in Reykjavik at the moment trying to work out if it's an accident or
they
actually wants to take Iceland now? Well, it's certainly a lot less belligerent than
yes.
Some of the scenarios that you'd seen written up, these sort of fanciful, sort of speculative pieces about when the US troops land and what have you. I don't think anyone really thought they were going to actually invade.
Not really, but even to use the number of the morning, the 1% chance seemed totally extraordinary. But yeah, you're right. There's a heartening element to all this, and that is that maybe this is just a negotiation. This will remain a negotiation.
But it is still breathtaking, isn't it?
Mm.
And one thing we haven't discussed yet, what does all this mean for AUKUS? I mean, you've got the UK out there openly deriding Trump, unabashedly siding with all of the other European NATO countries. You got this consensus from Canada to Ankara that what Trump's doing has absolutely no basis in law. It's arrogant. It's impertinent. It's a terrible way to treat your so-called friends. Are we still in this chummy relationship with them? Apparently we are.
Presumably we're having conference calls between the UK and US as we speak.
Has Penny Wong said anything about it? Has Albo said anything about it? Do we stand with Greenland, or do we just go, we'll just sit this one out?
The Australian government made some milquetoast statement that was non-committal either way.
Yeah. We're just trying to sit down here in our little part of the hemisphere and pretend it's not really happening.
We've gone full Antipodes on this one.
Yeah.
That's a northern hemisphere problem.
We're the 1% who've never heard of Donald Trump on this one.
Yeah, exactly right. We'll get to some of your suggestions very shortly on the most famous person on planet Earth. That's coming up.
The cost of living is out of control.
But Family First will take the pressure off. They'll cut migration, approve more housing, cut family taxes and slow the race to renewables.
Vote 1, Family First, to take the pressure off the cost of living.
Authorised by Lyle Shelton, Family First Party, Norwood.
The Diary of a CEO keeps going where other conversations stop and keeps asking the hard questions worth answering. Keep good company with the Diary of a CEO podcast.
If you're constipated and struggling to poo, here's some great news. Introducing Caruso's Constipation Ease. Caruso's Constipation Ease is a new herbal and fibre combination containing cascara, yellow dog, fennel and green banana powder. These help to relieve constipation by making it easier for you to poo. So if you're struggling to poo and would like to poo more, why not try Caruso's Constipation Ease? Caruso's Constipation Ease is available from leading pharmacies and health stores. Always read the label and follow the directions for use.
Now, what's more Australian than enjoying a soft, fluffy, chocolatey lamington this weekend? Well, the answer is always Adelaide's very own and much-loved Kyneton's Bakery Lamingtons, an absolute SA favourite.
Are they ever? Perfect to share with family and friends this Australia Day weekend, or pop in the lunchbox for back to school next week. Available in traditional, raspberry, coffee or traditional mini.
You'll find Kyneton's Lamingtons in the fridge section of the bakery department at Drake's or Foodland supermarkets, selected Woolworths, gourmet fruit and veg stores and Coles local St Peters.
Also, check Kyneton's website for your closest stockist and support a family-owned SA business this Australia Day weekend. It's what mates do.
Unique, loyal, fun-loving. That's what we look for in our pals. When you're next spending time with your best friends, don't forget some of the best pals you can have. Parafield Airport Liquor Store has your everyday favourites right through to those hard-to-find products. That's what great pals do. Sam and Jamie from Parafield Airport Liquor Store know every drop on the shelf, so you can always rely on their advice. Parafield Airport Liquor Store. Pals. Next to Roulette's Tavern, Kings Road, Parafield.
This summer, keep your whole home fresh and cool with the new ducted evaporative cooling system from Mannix. Evaporative cooling is energy efficient, delivering fresh, clean air through every room without high running costs. If you need to change your old unit to the latest model or even replace your current system completely for a reverse cycle system, see the team at Mannix for a free evaluation. After 60 years, South Australians trust Mannix. Get a free quote today at
Here at FIVEAA, we're all about supporting local. Howard Vineyards Rosé and Dumpling Festival this Saturday and Sunday. Gather your friends and family for 2 epic days of rosé sipping, dumpling devouring fun. FIVEAA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to FIVEAA on Facebook or YouTube.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, FIVEAA Breakfast.
Lots of texts coming through on 0480 08 1395. Do you want to do a quick roll call of nominations for the most famous person on earth? Who could get 100% name recognition if Donald Trump can't in Australia?
I really like this idea from Rob. This is what you call a poser, an intellectual poser. Rob says, call in now and tell us which famous person you've never heard of. I like that idea. I like here Elvis, King Charles, David Attenborough, the Pope. When she was alive, Queen Elizabeth. I like that one. Queen Elizabeth, I reckon.
Queen Elizabeth is good.
She's the best of all of them, I reckon. Michael Jordan. Yeah. Quite a few people picking Michael Jordan. And one here, I think it's a joke, says Barnaby Joyce. I think he's recognised by every Uber driver in Canberra because when they arrive to pick him up, they just look down at the footpath.
He's
down there somewhere.
He is certainly a name that's been brought up a lot in the last 24 hours with the coalition falling over and his defection to One Nation and their surge in the polls clearly being something of a driving force behind all this. Michael Packy is the national political editor for 9 Radio and joins us on what looms as A massive day in federal politics. Pat, good morning to you.
Good morning, guys. Look, I do think that it could potentially be a massive day today if the coalition, the Liberals and the Nationals, do yet again decide to split, go their separate ways. It looks as though that's where things are heading when late last night the Nationals held a virtual meeting and all Nationals frontbenchers decided to quit their roles. And a lot of it all comes down to the Labor's hate laws, the Albanese government's hate crime laws, which have passed through the Parliament. The Liberals backed them in, fairly, broadly backed them in. There was a couple of Liberals that abstained from that vote, but they broadly backed the government's position in. But the Nationals did not. The Nationals believe that these hate laws have been rushed, there hasn't been enough consultation, and that the legislation contains loopholes. And for that reason, the Nationals say they can't vote for them. And what's essentially happened is it's caused this fracture in the coalition. Last night, the frontbenchers resigned. And I do think that it's going to be hard for Nationals and Liberals really to work together for the rest of this term of Parliament.
Yeah, I mean, this looks like, the absolute definition of irreconcilable differences, doesn't it, Pac?
Yeah, look, absolutely. So you think that they went through this process in May last year after the federal election, and then they split for 8 days, and that became a bit of a joke in itself, that they decided to go their separate ways for 8 days, and then they came back together. But I don't think anything ever improved since then. There's been tensions since then, and I think it just all has come to a head yet again. And what happened here is that Susan Lee is saying that Shadow Cabinet did decide that these laws that Labor proposed would be passed, okay? So she's saying there needed to be Shadow Cabinet solidarity. And in Shadow Cabinet, you've got both Liberals and Nationals, and 3 Nationals, being Bridget McKenzie, Ross Cadell and Susan McDonald, when it came to the final vote, they decided to physically cross the floor and vote with the Greens against the laws, rather than just simply abstain in the Parliament, as in not come into the chamber and vote for them. And it's that show of defiance of Shadow Cabinet, of these 3 members physically crossing the floor and voting with the Greens against Labor's laws, which has caused the ructions. They've tendered their resignations, as they had to do so because they breached or broke Cabinet solidarity, and Susan Lee accepted those resignations. But David Littleproud wrote a letter telling her that if you accept these resignations, the rest of us will go, and that's what happened.
So, Pat, do you think it's fair to say that was great analysis, by the way, like trying to keep on top of all of the minutiae and the inner sort of outs and ins and up the cat's wazoo, remarkably complex stuff. Isn't the danger with this, though, that the average punter, well, not actually the average punter, because I'm struggling to understand it myself as someone who ostensibly pays attention to politics.
Yep.
People just glance at this and go, geez, that Susan Lee's hopeless.
It's 1,000%. Yeah, 100% correct. 100% correct. There is so minutiae and detail and nuance in all of that they've done that you're right. For a lot of people saying, what the hell's going on? The coalition does just not have its act together. It just gives Albanese and Labor another free pass.
Totally.
Even though they really don't deserve it.
Well, they had the shocking response to Bondi, the dithering over the Royal Commission, and here we are, the sum total result of all of that is Albo coasting along with the smouldering ruins of the coalition behind him.
Completely.
Yeah.
100%. It's unbelievable. And this is why, and you were talking about One Nation, this is actually why One Nation has been seeing this surge, because at least as a party, they're clarified as to what it is they do and don't stand for.
Yeah, 100%. Great analysis, mate. Michael Packey, the national political editor for Nine Radio in Canberra.
To that end, things like immigration, the lightning rod issue of the moment, you can go to the One Nation website and they've put a number on it. They will tell you, we will allow in 133,000 people a year. It'll be down 450-odd thousand from where it is right now. Like, it's all so clear. There's no,
Not always for good, sometimes for ill.
No, that's...
E.g., we'll print more money.
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
But the Donald Trump lesson has been, Donald Trump is very clear in what he says and stands for and wants to do.
At least it's an ethos, dude.
Exactly right. 13.8 degrees outside in the city at the moment. So many people tell me yesterday said, crikey, it's cold at the moment.
It was weird, wasn't it?
It was mid-20s. It's heading for a chilly top of 27 today. Then things will change. Tomorrow, 35. Saturday, 42. Sunday, 34. Monday, 40. Tuesday, 39. I wonder if that one could get to 42. And then Wednesday, it'll cool down to 30 degrees.
Well, Saturday's gone from 35 to 40 to 41 to 42 in the forecast.
It's going to be warm. Tom Wren's in the 5AA Breakfast Studio. Order a new glider or garage door before the end of Feb, and the operator's free. T's and C's apply. Morning to you, Rennie.
Morning, boys.
We'll get it right eventually.
Dan Curtin, as we perhaps suspected, or a lot of fans may have suspected, he is going to have surgery. So he'll be out for at least the first 6 rounds of the season. They're saying back between rounds 7 and 9. Disappointing. Not great. Not what you want to hear at the start of the year. Look, it was looking a bit scary yesterday. Isaac Rankin went down at training, but Salami came back and played the rest of match sim. But as we know, you don't want too much of your top-end talent going down, particularly at this time of year. So he will be back. I think it's the right call. You've got to put him in cotton wool.
Yeah, he's a long-term prospect. But the problem is, I was saying to someone, he's probably the guy that I think most Crows fans would have least wanted to lose to injury. Yes, Jordan Dawson's a better footballer, and Riley Philthorpe's obviously in the conversation.
But he's got more upside, doesn't he?
But if you look at the side and go, well, how are they going to get over the hump and become a side that wins finals? It's Dan Curtin's like at the top of the list.
Yeah, he's the midfielder. He's the guy.
That's right.
He's the one. So
much hope is on his shoulders and now on his kneecap.
Now, and now other players. I mean,
the draw's really tough too, isn't it?
Really tough.
Collingwood round 1 in Melbourne. It doesn't get much easier, does it?
It's going to have to be those players like Saligo we spoke about. You know, all of those guys are going to have to step up and have big starts to the year for them
the
to
games that the club normally does not win.
Yeah, so tough. Now, the other thing I wanted to touch on is Manchester City. Have the players sent a dangerous precedent? They've lost a Champions League match yesterday to a Norwegian side who hadn't won a Champions League match this campaign. They're called Bodo Glimt, a tiny side in Norway. And because Manchester City lost 3-1, they've said to all their travelling fans, we're going to refund your money. We're going to pay for everything that you've forked out of your pocket. Yeah. So this is set of dangerous...
This happens occasionally in English football. I like it.
Would you like to see AFL sides do something similar, and would you get a refund?
We are in no danger of that happening anytime soon, I would have thought, Reddy.
Okay, how many of our listeners saw both the Crows finals last year?
Yeah, I would have liked a refund. That would have been good.
Particularly that Brisbane game. That's one of the worst games of football I've ever been to.
The
Hawthorn one, the second one.
Yeah. Jai Newcombe ripped them up. Speaking of their midfield, he ripped them in that first quarter, didn't he?
Exactly right. I like it though, Reddy. It'd be good if your team was so bad...
You got a free trip.
Port fans should get a refund for the entire season last year. The season that never was, with the whole Hinkley.
The problem with this plan is if you're a North Melbourne fan, you've been actually made being a fan a full-time job for the last 3 years, I think.
Yeah.
You're probably earning a wage at this point.
If you'd be able to buy a house in North Melbourne.
Good on you, Reddy.
Thanks, boys.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Sunny and 27 today with the 6:30 news. Good morning, I'm Mel Usher.
Getting fit, your New Year's resolution? Book a Pilates and group exercise class at FIVEAA Extra. 6 locations.
One of 3 nationals whose resignation triggered a crisis for the coalition says it was appropriate she offered to resign. The senators resigned from their frontbench roles after breaking cabinet solidarity by voting against the government's hate speech laws. All Nationals frontbenchers have now quit their roles, leaving the relationship between the Liberals and the junior coalition party in tatters. Bridget McKenzie says the Nationals' position had been made clear to the opposition leader.
Susan Lee accepted our resignations, despite the fact that our leader, David Littleproud, had made it clear to her in a letter yesterday morning that if she accepted our resignations, then the National Party shadow ministry would also resign.
It's a national day of mourning. Flags will fly at half-mast, honouring the victims and those impacted by last month's Bondi Beach terror attack. The official national memorial service will be held at the Sydney Opera House tonight. Well, Sydney's northern beaches are closed again today following the recent spate of shark attacks. The council extending the closure, deeming the water still too murky. Another assessment will be carried out this afternoon. Australians are being urged to stay alert amid a surge in online investment scams. Toby Goff has more.
New data from National Australia Bank shows financial scams starting online have jumped 15% over the past 6 months, with criminals using fake ads, messaging apps and deep fake images of celebrities to appear legitimate. Common red flags in scams included pressure to act quickly, promises of guaranteed returns, or being contacted directly about investment opportunities. Anyone being approached online is being told to stop and verify the information and never send money to someone they don't know.
Prince Harry has held back tears while giving evidence against a British publisher he's suing for alleged phone hacking. Josh Bavis has the story.
The Duke of Sussex has today given evidence for the first time in the civil case against Daily Mail publisher Associated Newspapers Limited. He and 6 other high-profile identities like Elton John and Liz Hurley are suing the publisher, alleging its journalists used unlawful information gathering techniques like phone tapping for stories dating as far back as the 1990s. Prince Harry became emotional while talking of the impact it's had on himself and his wife Meghan, and that taking the action has felt traumatising. Lawyers for the publisher argue the stories were sourced from a leaky social network of the royals and refute claims of illegal and improper conduct.
The Songwriters Hall of Fame has welcomed its 2026 inductees. Taylor Swift has become the youngest female artist to receive the honour. There are also nods for Kenny Loggins, Terry Britton and Kiss pair Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Order a new Gliderol garage door before the end of Feb and the operator is free. T's and C's apply.
I think he's a member of the Kiss Army. It's over to Tom Wren.
Yes, I was dancing as I was coming in there, Mel. Nicely done. Let's start with some footy. Adelaide ruckman Riley O'Brien admits it's a blow to lose midfielder Dan Curtin for at least the first part of the season. The club confirmed the 20-year-old will need surgery on his dislocated kneecap and have ruled him out for at least the opening 6 rounds of the season. O'Brien telling Rowie and Timmy G it's not ideal.
It's disappointing. He's been looking unbelievable so far this pre-season. So it's certainly disappointing, but I think he'll be back in the early parts of the season. So we'll certainly see him at his best still this year, which is a really positive result.
Let's get to tennis. Alex de Minaur was the lone Aussie to record a win on day 4 of the Australian Open, setting up a third-round clash with Frances Tiafoe. Top seeds Coco Gauff, Arina Sabalenka, Carlos Alcaraz and Alexander Zverev all had wins. Well, a bit of an upset at the end of Stage 1 of the Tour Down Under with Lund Andersen winning Stage 1 with the exciting finish coming in Tanunda.
Welsford caught on the barriers, can't get through. Didn't get through, Welsford. It is Lund Andersen who gets it, the Danish sprinter from the team. They came late with a big rush, and it is Lund Andersen. That is a huge result.
Audio there thanks to 7. Stage 2 will begin from Norwood later this morning before finishing in Uradla this afternoon. Well, defending Big Bash champions, the Hobart Hurricanes have won their knockout BBL match against the Melbourne Stars overnight by just 3 runs. The Hurricanes will now play against the Sydney Sixers for a place in Sunday night's grand final against the Perth Scorchers, while the Stars have been knocked out. And European Champions League action matches are underway. Liverpool, Chelsea and Newcastle all playing. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
With lots of C-Max trials to choose from, there's something for everyone. Visit cmax.com.au and register today.
A sunny Thursday with a top of 27, sunny tomorrow 35, Saturday mostly sunny 42, Sunday sunny back to 34. Right now it's 14 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
Hi, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years we, the Lynn Andrews team, have specialised in commercial and residential property management. But above all, we specialise in people, helping to make life easier for investors and tenants. Everyone is treated with empathy and respect. It's the way we do business. It's the Lynn Andrews way. For residential and commercial property management, we're here to help you. Visit lynnandrews.com.au.
It all started in the back shed. Maybe it started early. Or late. Either way, the Olympic Industry sale means there's no need to wait. With big savings on our entire range of SA-engineered sheds, garages, carports and verandas, you can afford to start something big, tough, or tasty in your own backyard. Start something with the Olympic Industry sale. On now.
City Discount Tire.
Get saving now with City Discount Tyres. We're offering great deals on the world's top brands in tyres, wheels, suspension and parts. Suitable for four-wheel drives, SUVs and passenger cars, including Falcon, Michelin, Pirelli, Kumho, Hankook and many more. Finance options available. Search citydiscounttyres.com.au and locate your nearest dealer today. City Discount Tyres. We're driven by value.
Danny from Gromazio Foods is here. Yours is such a great story. Where did it come from? Is this a family tradition for you?
Yeah, definitely been around food my whole life. My brother and I decided to branch out in our 20s and open our own store. And then from there, we were just engaging with the customers. You know, they were just asking, gluten-free, can we have flavours? And we thought, well, let's have a go. And then we started creating them, and they ended up coming out tasting better than our original recipes. Got over 75 products on show.
Gromazio Foods is South Australia's only celiac certified food store.
Golden Grove and another one in Burnside Village.
Gromazio Food.
SA Seafood isn't just safe, it's the best. Best when it's bought fresh from your local supermarket or fishmonger. Best shared with friends over a long lunch. And when you're at the beach, best from the fish and chip shop with a little bit of chicken salt. Buying SA Seafood is the best thing you can do for our fishing industry. It helps our state thrive, and nothing tastes better. So buy the best. Buy SA Seafood.
A message from the Government of South Australia.
When it comes to reducing pain and rebuilding strength, Kiesa leaves nothing to chance. Our university-qualified health professionals don't just treat problem areas. They design personalised training programs using Swiss-engineered machines unique to Kiesa. These machines safely isolate the affected area, test your strength, and help rebuild your muscles for a stronger, more active and healthier life. Kiesa. Building strength with precision in Norwood and Glenelg.
5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
"21 to 7. Looking forward to hearing from the Bureau this morning, because there is a third day now that's dangerously close to hitting the 40 mark in the early part of next week. We've got the 42 on Saturday, obviously. Then we've got the 40 on Monday and a 39 on Tuesday. So we'll check it with the Bureau and we are in serious hot weather, dangerous hot weather pattern here. So we will find out from the Weather Bureau what chance there is of a third 40 in our very near future. That's coming up shortly. Matt Abraham in an hour's time on everything that's going on in politics, state and federal. Cannot wait for Matt to come in the studio with us.
It's going to be massive. You're not at this point yet, Will. You will be soon. Mm-hmm. You will be very soon with little Rosie growing up. They grow up so fast, as they say. But Tuesday's school lunchbox is presenting quite the conundrum. 41-degree day for back to school.
Fruit. Not going to have a long shelf life, is it?
You're not putting any sushi in there, are you?
No.
Anything with butter or mayonnaise is going to be pretty unpleasant. You can't use any...
A lot of dry Cruscats in the box.
Ham or anything. Yeah, maybe some Cruscats and Vegemite could withstand it.
Mm.
But even that would, imagine the Vegemite.
You're right, the butter and it'd be liquefied.
Imagine how hot the banana would be by the time
it's a good question.
What do you do?
What's the hot weather lunchbox item?
Well, the problem too is the school tuck shops often aren't open on the first day back to school. And particularly after a long weekend where the shops are shut on Monday. So I guess the kids would just have to go hungry.
You know what? With the other
Toughen them up.
The thing we haven't sold.
They can forage for nuts and berries.
I've missed this, and I confess this is my year. They can have to forage. The Tuesday night overnight low, the overnight low on Tuesday is going to be 28 degrees.
Oh, you're kidding.
28.
It's got sort of 5 years ago 46-degree vibes about it this weekend.
It really
Saturday,
does.
it wouldn't be surprising if it went up to 43 or 44, I don't think.
I'm not
it's jumping around.
I don't think the forecast maximum is quite so high in Davos, Switzerland. That's where we're heading now with Ben Downey, who's the 7 News Europe correspondent, who was a witness to Donald Trump's extraordinary speech just hours ago. Ben, good morning to you.
Morning, gents. -7 degrees here, so I'd probably trade my temperature for yours.
Oh, mate. How you bearing up?
Well, they've got to wear a suit and tie to these kind of engagements. So as much as I'd like to wear a big puffer and jacket and snow gear, I'm struggling. But I'm not someone you need to feel sympathy for. This is a billionaire's playground, so I've got people have it worse than I do right now.
So Trump's not really at Davos. He's sort of off to the side with a sort of fold-out table from Bunnings doing his own presentation, isn't he? Is that the way it's sort of working?
Well, it's called Camp USA. They've actually had to overtake a church in town, so big is the US delegation here. so they can host all their meetings. But no, he's very much in the thick of it. He arrived today, quite a show of force, really, a giant military helicopter convoy landing in the middle of the Swiss Alpine town before he went and really made a speech that the whole world was waiting with bated breath to hear, because there was always these fears that he was about to either invade Greenland or hit many of his allies, these European nations, with these harsh tariffs, as they wouldn't allow him to have this Arctic territory. And then he went on to basically saying, we need to have it for Arctic security. It's a must. We're going to install missile systems across all of it as well, and basically telling them we need to have urgent negotiations. And if you don't, well, you don't know what's going to happen if you don't come to the negotiating table. But after issuing these threats, in the last few moments, I've got some breaking news for you. He's just jumped on Truth Social, one of these late-night screeds he's really famous for writing, and he appears to have done a complete U-turn. Now he says he's just had a very productive meeting with the NATO Secretary-General. He's begun the framework of a future deal with respect to Greenland. And then, importantly, he says, I will not be imposing all these tariffs that were scheduled to go into effect on Europe. So this is really one of those classic TACO moments. You know, that acronym that means Trump always chickens out. He's done really a U-turn. There was a lot of fear and anticipation over what he was going to say, but now it appears this strategy of flattery by Mark Rutte, the NATO Secretary-General. Remember, this is the guy that called Trump daddy the last time he was over in Europe. Seems to, for now at least, have won him over.
Has he chickened out, or has it been successful brinksmanship, though? Like if the head of NATO is now saying we're prepared to look at some framework, could they get their way throughout force, be it economic or certainly military?
Well, I think, importantly at this stage, I mean, if you ask NATO, they'd certainly say it's true negotiating. But importantly, in this statement we've just had from Trump, it doesn't mention anything about whether he would own the territory or whether it would remain under the control of Denmark and Greenland. It says nothing about Denmark or Greenland's wishes, but Mark Rutte, this NATO Secretary-General, he's in there representing Denmark, being one of the close NATO nations as well. He's in there fighting for NATO. So we don't have the complete details of this yet. It looks like it's only the beginnings of a deal at this stage anyway, but at this stage, it appears after Trump saying only a few hours ago that they have to not just have control of it with military bases, but literally own it, because in his words, no one wants to defend a license agreement over Greenland. Now it appears, at least in some stage, that it's going to remain a territory of Denmark for now. But of course, with Trump, he's so unpredictable. We've just seen in the last 24 hours, he's gone from on the brink of invasion to now becoming best friends with NATO again. Who knows what's going to happen in the next 24 hours?
Yeah, absolutely.
Big breaking news, Ben. Thank you for that. Ben Downey for 7 News in Switzerland. You'll get the latest on those developments on 7 News tonight. That is an extraordinary change. And I'm just looking at the markets, the TACO trade. Is it that it was share traders that coined that turn of phrase? The trade has paid off again. If you buy the moment Trump talks tariffs as a threat, when markets tank, you're buying a dip that predictably will rebound very quickly.
He's probably doing it himself. It's the ultimate form of insider trading.
Well, don't laugh. People, if not Trump himself, people around him.
Oh, yeah. His coterie.
That's extraordinary. I tell you what else is extraordinary. Some of the people have been taking pictures of their weather app, but fixed to their location around South Australia. And I think the winner is Trish in the Riverland in Berry. Have a listen to the Berry forecast from Saturday through till Wednesday. 44 Saturday, 43 Sunday, 46 Monday, 47 Tuesday, 40 Wednesday. Then you think, oh, well, it must cool off. Well, this is how it cools off. 38 Thursday, 39 Friday, 38 Saturday. Trish is going to be slow cooked.
Unbelievable.
Let's head to the Weather Bureau. Ellie Matthews joins us. Ellie, we're trying to get our heads around all the numbers at the moment. Could we have 3 40-degree days in Metro Adelaide, do you think, over the course of the next week?
Oh, look, in terms of how the forecast is shaping up, there's certainly a few days that are very much nearing, if not over that 40 degrees in the next week or so. There's certainly across the state there is broader areas that are sitting well up into the mid-40s for much of the coming week or so. Whilst today is not looking anywhere near as warm as the later forecast is, today is sort of that more mild to warm day before the heat does arrive. Only looking at a top of 27 degrees for Adelaide today. And when I say only, that is when we're saying 42 degrees is on the forecast for Saturday, and still continuing at a 34 degrees on Sunday before another 40 degrees potentially for Monday and Tuesday. So certainly a lot of heat is building across the state. Broadly across the pastoral areas, we're looking at 45 degrees, if not warmer, for much of from Friday onwards. So certainly plenty of heat around, and that does bring with it, at times we will be seeing some gustier winds, particularly on Saturday. So it does mean for some elevated fire dangers in the coming week, particularly that Saturday, as we do see some fresh and gusty northwesterly winds building ahead of a trough that does pass through. That trough may bring a slight reprieve to some heat for some of the coastal areas, including Adelaide, but in saying that, the warmth does return for the new week. David and Will.
Brace yourself, Ellie. It is going to be hot. Thank you for that. Ellie Matthews there from the Weather Bureau. Our good friend Jane Riley texted yesterday saying that yesterday's Wednesday, 2 days ago, Tuesday, marked exactly a month since Adelaide recorded any rainfall. The last time it's rained in Adelaide was December 20 when we got 1.2 mil, and the average rainfall for January is 20 mil.
We didn't get a drop last year, did we, in January? Because remember, we didn't get a drop until incredibly late in the year. Yeah. I wonder if we're on the same path to that. Just looking at our resident stats man, Ben Jordan, who's texted in. You mentioned the 46.6 degrees in 2019, that it has that sort of feel about it. He says that was part of a 3 hot day period, but in December of that year, we also had 4 days in a row averaging 44 degrees. And one night, the overnight low was 33. So we've been through worse, I guess is the point.
That's true.
Senior Constable Daniel Isaacson from SAPOL joins us as we reflect on the overnight incidents. There was a car fire at Glen, Daniel.
Yeah, that's right. Just after 11:15 p.m. Yesterday, police and MFS crews were called to Provident Avenue after reports of a black Mazda on fire. MFS crews extinguished the blaze, which had caused pretty extensive damage to the vehicle. We believe that this fire was deliberately lit, so we're just asking if anybody has witnessed the incident, call Crime Stoppers on 1-800-333-000 or report it online.
Daniel, also, there's been a house break-in at Holden Hill.
Yeah, this one happened at about 3:20 a.m. today. That's when police were called to an address on Naretha Street at Holden Hill after reports of 3 people entering the property. The homeowner was confronted and a grey Toyota Camry was stolen, and luckily nobody was injured. The offenders left and the car was found a short time later after it had crashed into parked cars on Gaelic Avenue at Holden Hill, so they didn't get too far. The car was towed from the scene and it's going to be forensically analysed, and investigations to locate the people responsible are continuing. And again, if anybody has any information or witnessed this, we just ask them to contact Crime Stoppers. That number again, 1-800-333-000.
Senior Constable Daniel Isaacson from SAPOL. Very scary for that Holden Hill family.
Absolutely. Tim sent us through what's the most comical forecast over the course of the next few days. Tarcoola in the state's mid-north. Now, I'll just read it to you. So the rest of today, 35 in Tarcoola. Friday, 43. Saturday gets up to 48 degrees in Tarcoola. Now, but have a listen to this. Some relief. Late cool change and windy. It drops back the next day to 45.
Oh, balmy.
How about that cool change?
Nice.
Then 47 on Monday.
Fire up the barbecue.
And 44 on Tuesday. Well, they'll be holding out for that relief of 3 degrees from 48 to 45 in Tarcoola, I bet. Let's check traffic. We'll be back with more 5AA Breakfast in just a moment.
I like this one from Peter. He says, if I don't make it to heaven, at least I know what hell feels like with this heat.
Yeah, indeed. This summer, the feeling starts with a test drive of the new Jarvis Toyota Brighton Road, Summerton Park.
Thanks, Will. And morning, David. At Vista, roads closed due to a previous crash. Lower North East Road at Perseverance Road. In the Parklands, a crash there too. Hutt Road near Glen Osmond Road, but having a quick look at the map, there's no great dramas through there. Burst water main to keep in mind at Norwood today. Port Rice Road near Kensington Road, that will be slow. And the tour is around Norwood and up through the hills at Urayla. Today, look out for detours around those areas. Early morning camera, Coventry Road, Cutler. Absolutely everything is on sale at Freedom. Save 20 to 60% off absolutely everything. Plus, enjoy free delivery. Their biggest sale ever, must end Monday only at Freedom. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Here's a stat you need to hear. Literally, 1 in 6 Australians are living with some sort of hearing loss. It's hard to notice because it creeps up on you, but it doesn't have to get in the way of things. Not if you do something about it now. Can Do Hearing can provide solutions to make living with hearing loss so much better. And your options are almost endless. Book an appointment with Can Do Hearing. candohearing.com.au. That sounds better.
Planning your next holiday? The local travel experts at Spark Travel are just a phone call away. Reach out today for a chat and let's start planning your holiday together. Spark Travel, where the journey begins with a conversation. sparktravel.com.au.
Now, get into the action of the Santos Tour Down Under as it continues to bring its electric atmosphere through the city and our regions on till Sunday.
Today, the world's best cyclists will be tackling what is arguably the hardest stage in TDU history. The Health Partners Men's Stage 2 race from Nord to Uradla promises huge climbs and is poised to reveal serious contenders for the first win of the UCI World Tour season.
Catch all the action on the big screen at the City of Adelaide Tour Village in Victoria Square. With free entry, the City of Adelaide Tour Village is your central city hub with entertainment, food and drink vendors, making for a perfect after-work destination as the sun goes down.
Visit tourdownunder.com.au for more info.
Paint professionals. You know the name and you know what to expect. Nothing but a professional finish and professional service. But did you know that Marty and his team are also the go-to professionals when it comes to rejuvenating your pool? If your concrete or fiberglass pool has lost its beautiful blue, paint professionals can recoat your pool and bring it back to its former glory, like new again. Get the professional treatment. Brush with the best. Call Paint Professionals or visit paintprofessionals.com.au.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
5 minutes to 7. Our former colleague here at 5AA, Chris McDermott, has announced he'll be running for the seat of Dunstan at the state election for Sarah Games' Fair Go party. We are going to be counting down before 7 o'clock the top 7 sports personalities turned politicians. So get your mind thinking about that. See if we've missed anyone, but we'll reveal the top 7 shortly.
I doubt he's in our list because he's too obscure, but there was a guy who played for Carlton in the 1950s, Percy, I can't remember what his last name was, Percy Smith? Percy Jackson. He ran for the Liberals. And you know what his slogan was? Point Percy at the Parliament. It was. That was his slogan. Percy.
That's quite something.
First texter through who's got his surname will give you some Wallace tickets.
Now, this is extraordinary. You go to an airport, the vending machine is very important. You're waiting around. You've usually got a selection of chips, crisps, soft drink, water. Not in Port Lincoln, where you can get oysters. Oysters from the airport vending machine. Joanne Quigley is the Lower Air Council Mayor and joins us on 5AA Breakfast now. Mayor, good morning to you.
Good morning.
This is a great idea, Mayor. They do it in France, don't they? Is that where the idea came from?
We actually got the idea from a venue that we have in Coffin Bay that has a vending machine outside of their oyster business.
Oh, okay. Is it the restaurant there on the Oyster Boardwalk?
Oyster HQ, yes.
Yeah, Oyster HQ. Corey Bernardi owns that, doesn't he?
He does now, yes, that's right.
Yeah. So it's coming to Port Lincoln. What a great innovation.
Yeah, look, we're really excited. It's taken a little while for it to work, but we're working with Craig and Sandy from the Fresh Fish Place, and they've the machine arrived last week, and on Saturday we had it filled, and we were quite fortunate that we'd had the Tunarama in Port Lincoln. So we had quite a few ministers, and we had opposition leader Susan Lee and Federal Minister Don Farrell, along with State Ministers Joe Sockarch and Lucy Hood at the airport on Saturday morning when it was stopped. So they were some of the first to be able to purchase the goods. So great promotion for the seafood industry on the Lower Eyre Peninsula. So really excited that it's all up and going. And if you want to pop in, you can get fresh Coffin Bay oysters. We've got local seafood, bluefin tuna and Spencer Gulf kingfish in jars, pickled local octopus, Port Lincoln squid, and there's quite a good selection of different smoked house products. So the fridge is ready to go, and it looks amazing in the spot where it is. It's very convenient for people to be able to grab something. And the other amazing thing is that you can actually purchase a cold packed bag to put your produce in to get it on the plane and to get it home.
How good is that? I presume the oysters are unopened, though, are they not?
I think they're opened.
Really? Wow.
But now that you've said that, I was looking at the machine as I flew out of Port Lincoln last night, but I think they were, but maybe they might not be. I'm sorry that I'm
that's right.
not all over that one.
People
but,
can go and discover for themselves, can't they?
That's right, absolutely. But I think the fact that you don't have to be prepared with packaging or anything like that, it's all there.
Yeah.
A one-stop shop for you to be able to take some produce home and to be able to share the experiences of our seafood. It is world-renowned, and we're really proud of it. So it's great that people can do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself, Mayor. Good on you. Joanne, quickly, the Lower Eyre Council Mayor.
Thanks, everyone who's texted and called in as well. Percy Jones was the person you were thinking of.
The top 7 before 7.
Which Percy Jones could well have featured in our top 7 before 7. Sports personalities turned politicians, inspired by number 7, Chris McDermott. Inaugural Crows captain, now running for the seat of Dunstan in the state election. Number 6. This is global, by the way. These are big global names. Manny Pacquiao, the boxer, one of the greats of all time, became a senator in the Philippines between 2016 and 2022. Dawn Fraser.
Of course, member for Balmain.
That's right. One of the greatest who ever done it. Nova Paris, speaking of Olympians, turned parliamentarians.
Labor senator.
Became the first Indigenous woman selected to Parliament in 2013. Imran Khan, the great Pakistan all-rounder, 2018 to 2022. It doesn't ever turn out well for former Prime Ministers of Pakistan once their term ends, and he's currently in jail. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
The Governator.
Mr. Olympia. This counts as a sports person, doesn't it? He was a professional bodybuilder, Mr. Universe type sort of thing. California governor for 8 years, 2003 to 2011, and a number 1 spot. There can only be one. Long-time listeners to this program will know this was going to be easy.
Mal Meninga, good morning.
Good morning, Chris.
Why are you standing?
A number of reasons. I guess throughout my sporting career, I've had the urge to do community work, and I think I've really worked hard on that aspect. My 16 years in Canberra, and the thing about that is that I was, I guess, a public figure, and I was put on on the podium where I was just a person out there making sure that I was. I'm buggered. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I resign.
So Mal Meninga is leaving the studio, and he says that he can't do it.
I love that.
The legendary moments in Australian political history.
Well, Bone won't come on with us this morning. We love him.
We're trying to get hold of Bone.
He went on with Lath last night, but he won't come on with us. So maybe he's going to do a Mal Meninga on the Brekkie Show.
There's still time. There's still time, Bone.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
The very latest news and information. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Partly cloudy and 26 today with the 7 o'clock news. Good morning, I'm Mel Usher.
Start the new year right with Physio Extra Pilates and group exercise classes. Book at physioextra.com.
Opposition leader Susan Lee is urging the Nationals not to break up the coalition following mass resignations. Michael Packey reports from Canberra.
The coalition is facing its second split in less than a year as the fallout from the hate crime legislation continues. The Liberals backed the Albanese government's reforms. Its junior partner, the Nationals, did not, arguing the bill has been rushed and contains loopholes. As a result, All 11 senior nationals, including leader David Littleproud, have quit their frontbench roles in protest. Ms Lee has released a statement urging Mr Littleproud not to walk away from the coalition, saying she won't make changes to the shadow ministry for now to give the Nats who resigned more time to reconsider their position.
A car has been torched at Greenland. The Mazda sedan was set alight on Provident Avenue just after 11 last night. It's being treated as suspicious. New high-tech speed and mobile phone cameras are on the way in SA. The Swedish devices can take more than 30 images per second of the same vehicle with 20 megapixel quality. They'll be installed at new locations. Others will replace old devices. Chris McDermott's name will be on the ballot when we head to the polls on March 21. The former footballer and coach and man behind the Little Heroes Foundation will represent Sarah Game's Fair Go for Australians party in the eastern suburb seat of Dunstan. The 62-year-old says he's at the right stage in his life to tackle the political arena.
For me, the age is everything. You know, and they do it well to a degree in America, like what they do or not, but a lot of the political people, certainly their heads, are 60, if not 70 plus. So they've lived a life, they've had life experiences.
Australia could soon be putting harsh tariffs on Chinese steel. Gabrielle Hodson has the details.
The Albanese government is looking at putting tariffs on Chinese fabricated steel imports after claims are being dumped on the Aussie market and destroying our local manufacturing industry. The Financial Review says the government will ask the Productivity Commission for an inquiry. The Australian Steel Institute has also called for emergency protection under World Trade Organisation rules and wants a 400,000 tonne quota. If imports exceed that level, the Institute wants a 50% tariff. Any tariffs or quotas could test the relationship that Canberra has rebuilt with Beijing.
The US president is now withdrawing his threat to impose tariffs on European countries, claiming a deal is being struck over Greenland. Donald Trump says he's had a very productive meeting with the Secretary-General of NATO, laying out the framework for an agreement. But he did not clarify whether the deal would see the United States take control of the territory.
It's a long-term deal. It's the ultimate long-term deal. I think it puts everybody in a really good position, especially as it pertains to security and minerals.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Order a new Gliderol garage door before the end of Feb and the operator is free. T's and C's apply.
And with everything tennis, it's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Yes, let's begin there. Aussie Alex de Minaur has overcome a slow start against Serbia's Hamad Medjedovic to advance to the third round of the Australian Open. The world number 90 winning the first set in a tiebreak before appearing to get rattled by the pro de Minaur crowd. De Minaur dropped just 5 games over the next 3 sets. He says he's learned how to combat the big hitters.
I'm currently 6th in the world, right? And I've gotten there because I can play some ball too, right? So even if my opponent's playing some lights-out tennis, there's still ways where I can hurt my opponent and get them out of that kind of zone.
The 5 other Aussies in action, including Jordan Thompson and Ayla Tomljanovic, all lost. Well, the star-studded Melbourne Stars have been knocked out of the Big Bash finals after a thrilling rain-affected loss to the Hobart Hurricanes. They won by 3 runs and the Hurricanes will now take on the Sydney Sixers for a spot in the grand final. To soccer, Adelaide United's women have recorded an impressive 2-1 win on the road against the Newcastle Jets to jump up to 4th on the table. Meantime, in European Champions League action, Newcastle is already 2-0 up against PSV.
Oh, mistake. Wisser is in to capitalise and Gordon is there to make it 2-0. Twice PSV have erred and twice they have been punished by Newcastle United.
Audio there thanks to Stan Sport. Meantime, Chelsea and Paphos are locked at 0-0, as are Liverpool and Marseille, about 10 minutes to go in the opening half. And 2 games in the NBL overnight. The South East Melbourne Phoenix keeping the pressure on Adelaide for top spot. That's after a 123 to 116 point win against the New Zealand Breakers, while Melbourne United smashed the Brisbane Bullets 98 to 66. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Lynn Andrews Real Estate, experts in commercial and residential property management. lynnandrews.com.au.
And Vista roads closed due to a previous crash along North East Road near Perseverance Road. Burst water main at Portrush Road at Norwood today, just near Kensington Road. That'll be super slow this morning. And road closures around Norwood and Uradler in the Hills for day 6 of the Tour Down Under. Early morning camera this morning too. Chief Street at Brompton. Harris Scarf Big Stock Take Sale is on now. Save 40% off sheet sets and pillows. Don't miss out. Exclusions apply. Harris Scarf, great brands, great prices. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
With lots of C-Max trials to choose from, there's something for everyone. Visit cmax.com.au and register today.
Sunny and 27 today, sunny tomorrow 35, Saturday mostly sunny 42, and then Sunday sunny 34. Right now it's 14 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
Stay informed, get involved. 5AA, always Adelaide. You're simply the best. David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
7 after 7, good morning to you and welcome to Thursday if you're joining us for the first time on 5AA Breakfast today. Some breaking news we're expecting in the next hour on the program. The Nationals will be holding an all-in press conference in Canberra in about 50 minutes' time. So straight out of 8 o'clock, we imagine we'll get some clarity around the future of the coalition. It would appear there is no future for the coalition.
Let's start a book. I'll chance my arm and say that by 5 p.m. tomorrow, Susan Lee will have resigned as leader of the Liberal Party.
Do you think that's how this plays out?
I think she's cooked, isn't she?
I think she should be cooked, but that's a different question to whether she actually will be.
I think she's going to have a Vincent Tarzia-style epiphany where she just goes, and he did his on a Friday as well.
Yeah.
He thought about it Thursday night. Today is Thursday. It was exactly 7 weeks ago. Sorry, that Vincent Tarzia did that. Crikey, how time flies. But it just feels like she's got the... She's got the...
Well, how much worse can it get? Or does it need to get?
A doomed woman.
Well, let's just recap the last few days, shall we? The worst news poll result for any major party in the history of the news poll, and the coalition is no more. Like...
The preferred Conservative Party in Australia now is headed by Pauline Hanson.
That's correct.
The party of John Howard is behind the party of Pauline Hanson. That
would seem to be a compelling argument for a leadership change, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and I think the question then becomes who gets it? And I think, sadly, the Liberal who has shown the most leadership in Australia over the last 8 weeks on the one issue that should be uniting us all, sadly is not in the Parliament, and his name's Josh Frydenberg.
Yes, without a doubt.
He shamed Anthony Albanese with that speech that he gave in Bondi, and the leadership that he showed primarily, I would argue, on behalf of all Australians, and also, importantly, his own people, the Jewish people of Australia. But his anger was justified, and we've now got this absurd situation where the Albanese government has been on the skids over its response to Bondi and its ambivalence to the calls in the 2 years preceding Bondi that anti-Semitism was running unchecked in Australia, the bombing of synagogues, the sort of hate speech that's been running unchecked and unchallenged through mosques in Western Sydney and in outer Melbourne, in particular. The furor over the repatriation of ISIS brides, the question mark over the checking of Palestinian asylum seekers, some of whom may or may not support Hamas, and we'll never know because the vetting processes are so sloppy. I mean, there's any number of things you can criticise the Albanese government over, and what's happened? The coalition has collapsed.
It's just extraordinary.
It's a disaster.
We'll find more about that after 8 o'clock today. We'll get Matt Abraham's take in the next 20 or 30 minutes as well. Of course, we're here in South Australia in the midst of an election campaign that's just a couple of months away, and we have a new contender for the seat of Dunstan.
For somebody that's coming in from outside, I think the political landscape is ready for some change. Can't say I'm going in it expecting to win. I'm going in hoping I can make a difference and people can see that.
That's Inaugural Crows coach, former 5AA host Chris McDermott, who will be running for the Sarah Game Fair Go for All South Australians party in the seat of Dunstan.
He's the world's nicest bloke, but Bone has got an absolute snowball's chance in hell of making any difference whatsoever in that seat. Why didn't he run down Glenelg way? He should have run...
presumably it's just about where he lives, isn't it?
Well, there's more than a couple of MPs who don't live in their electorate. He should have run in Gibson, which is Corey Wingard's old seat. You know, every person down there is a Mad Bay supporter. And the margin for Labor is only like 1% down there, isn't it? If you ran down there, he might have actually caused a few more ripples. But in la-di-da eastern suburbs Dunstan,
this is how...
What's a Glenelg bloke doing living on that side of town anyway?
Well,
you can't get to the barbecue in from the Nord Parade.
You've asked an interesting question there. At the by-election in 2024, April 2024, Anna Finizio got 43.5% of the first preference vote. Cressida O'Hanlon, who won the seat, 32.1%. Katie McCusker, remember, the Greens are very strong in that part of Adelaide, 19.2%. It would seem to be a Herculean effort to try and get into the second position, which is what he'd have to do to get in on preferences. That's a huge ask. But if he did manage to do it, he'll join Frank Pangallo among the class of former 5AA hosts who've tried their hand in state politics. I wonder if our listeners can think of any others that have... There have been plenty of others that have been in politics and come and hosted radio here, but have gone from the radio side to actually politics.
You've done one-off programs when I was on paternity leave. You did a show a couple of times with Nick Xenophon.
Yes, but he was already in politics, I suppose.
Yeah, that's true.
Jane Stinson was a regular when I was doing afternoon. She was always our political correspondent and then went on to be, we'll claim that one, she went on to become a Labor MP for the seat of Badco, obviously.
Natasha Stott-Despoja did radio here.
Yes,
she also did radio with her former partner Ian Smith at the ABC for quite some time. There's been a lot. Kevin Foley did radio here. He did the morning show for a while.
He did.
He was good too, Foley.
Not afraid of
knockabout manner.
Saying what he thinks, Kevin
make
Foley.
Sure he turned up on time.
Hey, this weekend around the country, coinciding with Australia Day, at midday in all the major capital cities, there'll be March for Australia events taking place. And one of the anthems of the March for Australia is now the subject of some controversy.
And he said, I come from a land of love. Lead us slow and mention love.
Hey, the lead singer of Men at Work, of course, has issued a statement in the last 3 hours that reads, "Let me say that I most strenuously disapprove of any unauthorised, unlicensed use of Down Under for any March for Australia events. Down Under, a song I co-wrote, does not belong to those who attempt to sow xenophobia within the fabric of our great land, our great people. Down Under is ultimately a song of celebration. It's for pluralism and inclusion, unity, not division. Go write your own song. Leave mine alone." Colin Hay signs off. Colin Hay, and in brackets, immigrant.
He's from Scotland originally.
Yeah.
Colin Hay. Well, that's fair enough. It's his song. There's been incidents of this in the United States, in American politics. Was it Springsteen fired up when Ronald Reagan tried to use Born in the USA in the 1980s?
Trump had one too, a song that he was using that was objected to.
I think almost every performer, apart from...
there's a few country music types.
Kid Rock. Sweet Home Alabama.
Is it Nicki Minaj now?
Yeah, she's full-blown Trumper.
Full Marga?
Yeah. Tay-Tay had a bit of a stink with Trump too.
That's right, she did.
About the Swifties for Trump, the Instagram website that took off.
That's right. 0448 08 13 95. Lots to talk about this morning. There's all stuff that's happening as we speak, and lots of feedback coming through on those issues and more as well.
A lot of feedback about the coalition. Fair to say that those listeners among our number who skew Conservative are just shaking their heads at the way this is playing out. A few people are making some quite shrewd predictions. I think Paul in Norwood might be onto something. Morning, lads. I can see the Nationals possibly entering into a coalition with the One Nation Party, especially with the potential for Barnaby Joyce opening negotiations. And one here from Andrew saying, I agree with you, Dave. Susan Lee is cooked after she accepted the first 3 resignations when David Littleproud told her if she did, the rest would walk. What a mess. We've got calls out to some of South Australia's few remaining coalition federal MPs. There's only 2 of them left in South Australia at the lower house level, more senators, but we've been getting texts from people saying that there are all sorts of theories doing the rounds and no one has any idea what is going to happen over the next 24 hours.
I've been distracted. I mentioned there's the old musician that's been upset about Donald Trump using their music. Do you want to hear the definitive list?
How long is it?
ABBA,
have we got time?
This is in alphabetical order. These are people that have officially publicly rebuked Donald Trump for using their music during campaign events or public speaking tour or whatever.
You said ABBA.
ABBA, Adele, Aerosmith, AHA, Andrew Lloyd Webber, The Animals, The Beatles, Beyonce, Bruce Springsteen, Celine Dion, Creedence Clearwater Revival, Earth, Wind and Fire, Eddie Grant, Elton John, Everlast, Foo Fighters, Free, Guns N' Roses, Isaac Hayes, Jess Glynn, Joey Valance and Bray, Johnny Marr, Kenny Loggins, Leonard Cohen, The Musical Les Mis, Linkin Park, Luciano Pavarotti, MGMT, Neil Young, Nickelback, Nico Vega, Nick Kershaw, The OJs, Olivia Rodrigo, Ozzy Osbourne, Panic at the Disco, Pharrell Williams, Phil Collins, Prince, Queen, R.E.M., Rihanna, The Rolling Stones, Rufus Wainwright, Sabrina Carpenter, Seismonic, Sinead O'Connor, Spinal Tap, Scissor,
Spinal Tap,
Tom Petty, Twisted Sister, Village People, The White Stripes.
That's quite a That's pretty much every Grammy winner for the last 25 years.
Richard in Glenside has called in on sports people turned politicians. Morning to you, Richard.
Yeah, hi, guys. You might be a bit young to remember, but Ian McLaughlin was a Liberal politician for many years and a Test cricketer. So I don't know if you got him or not. If you missed him or not, I'm not sure.
He's a great bloke.
That's a great entry, Richard.
He was the Defence Minister in Canberra in the first term of the Howard government, and in a show of character, which sadly is lacking, I think, in a lot of people in public life, he sacked himself. He quit the front bench when he accidentally received secret information about the High March Island Bridge that was intended for another person whose surname was McLaughlin. It was sent to his office in error, and he opened it and read it.
Politics used to have integrity, didn't it? Or at least more integrity.
Yeah, and on account of reading it, he went and handed himself in to John Howard and said, I'm out of here.
Barry O'Farrell in New South Wales who resigned because he received a bottle of wine that he didn't declare.
Bottle of Grange.
Thank you for that, Richard. That was a good one. Alan in Henley Beach, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Dave and Will. Chris Natt, ex-FIVEAA footballer, was a legislative member of the Assembly in Northern Territory.
Oh, wow. That's a good obscure
That's a good one, Alan. John Alexander's one that came to mind.
Member for Bennelong?
That's right, a short time ago.
Matt Cowdery,
my local member in Colton.
Of course.
Outgoing, unfortunately. He's a good member.
Yeah,
he's a good representative. Matt.
Sam Grace in Victoria.
That's right. Tennis player.
Yep.
19 after 7, keep them coming in. 8223 text us on 0448 08 1395. We'll have a quick look at the traffic. This summer, the filling starts with a test drive at the new Jarvis Toyota Brighton Road.
Morning there, Croydon got a smash to look out for on the north-south motorway near Hawker Street, seeing some pretty solid delays inbound. Vista roads closed this morning. That's due to a nasty crash from earlier this morning. Lower North-East Road near Perseverance Road and Norwood Burst Waterman, that will be slow today. Port Rush Road near Kensington Road. Camera Old Port Road, Royal Park. Want your salads to say fresher, longer? Try Rainbow Fresh. SA grown for a longer shelf life in your fridge. Available in Foodland, Drake's IGA and Greengrocers. Local. It's better for you. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA Mornings with Graham Goodings.
Federal Parliament overnight enacted the most significant gun law reform since the 1996 Port Arthur massacre. Also passed was the Hate Laws Bill. It criminalises disseminating ideas of racial superiority and applies to speech, symbols, gestures and online content.
Graham Goodings.
It'll take some time before we know whether it's gone too far or not far enough.
Weekday mornings from 9 on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Oh, geez, it's hot in here. Can someone pass the Morford air? Oh, that's better.
When the temperature is too hot or cold to bear, reach for the Morford Air, Adelaide's own homegrown family air conditioning company. Morford Air has kept South Australians perfectly comfortable for over 50 years. So when it's too hot or cold to bear, you can always reach for the Morford Air. Look for the bright blue building at 602 Marion Road or visit morfordair.com.au.
Morford. The most frustrating thing about having your car repaired after a collision can be the wait. Sometimes months. At Premier Panel Services, the wait is one thing you won't have to worry about. We've expanded our workshop and our highly skilled team. It means we're better equipped to deliver an outstanding outcome for you and your car. RAA and MTA approved, Premier Panel Services work with most insurance companies. So ask for Premier Panel Services and get back on the road sooner.
You've built a life in your street, the neighbours know your name, the barista knows your order, but lately you're coming to the conclusion that your home just isn't quite working for you. Well, not the way it could be. If you've got a large block, get in touch with Metro Homes.
Metro specialise in knockdown and rebuild projects, and they're helping people all over Adelaide set themselves up for a solid future.
They can replace your existing house with 2 brand new homes on the same block, one for you, designed to suit how you live now, and the other is an investment property right next door. It's a smart way to stay put while setting yourself up for the future.
Metro take care of everything too, the design, the approvals, the build, the lot. Build your future where you really feel at home. Go Metro. Visit metrohomesa.com.au.
Summer's here. Time to get your new Woolco pool blanket. Made from quality materials, a Woolco pool blanket will keep your pool clean, warm and reduce evaporation. Uncover the savings now. Visit woolco.com.au.
Your summer escape starts at Camper Agent RV Supercentre. Explore incredible deals on leading brands like Winnebago, Windsor, Kia, Andrea and Design RV. Caravans, camper vans and motorhomes, new and pre-owned, ready for immediate delivery. Whether you're planning a quick weekend getaway or an epic cross-country adventure, there's never been a better time to buy. With trusted brands and friendly experts ready to help, Camper Agent makes it easy to hit the road this summer. Visit Camper Agent RV Supercentre, Parafield Gardens, and start your summer adventure today.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
23 minutes after 7, late in the program yesterday, we received a call from someone who was standing on the platform at a train station where a serious incident had unfolded. They weren't aware what it was, but just knew that the Gawler line had been stopped and police and emergency services were in attendance. Subsequently, we learnt over the course of the day that a 16-year-old boy crashed into a train riding an e-scooter. It comes just days after an e-scooter rider collided with a car at Stirling, and 6 odd months. It was July last year when e-scooter riding in South Australia became legal. 6 months in, a couple of incidents. Let's chat with an expert in Russell White, Chair of the Australian Road Safety Foundation. Russell, good morning to you. What evidence do we have? Obviously, it's early in the game here in South Australia, about but the safety of riding e-scooters, say, compared to school kids riding bikes.
Yeah, morning, guys. I think the jury's a little bit out still on the exact extent of this, but what we're going to be seeing, I think, and what we have seen pretty much right around the country is that there's increasing rates in terms of serious trauma from things like e-scooters and e-bikes, probably for a number of reasons, but obviously the speed that these things can do is quite different, say, to your standard push bike. They can do those speeds consistently. So I think we've also got a real mix now of people, hitting the roads in a fairly inexperienced, with a little experience, I should say, on things that can go quite quickly and can be at times quite unstable from a dynamic standpoint. So we are certainly, when I talk to trauma surgeons around the country, it's probably the number one thing that they're talking about in terms of increases in injury. And when we're seeing road trauma figures right across the country, for the last 4 or 5 years heading in the wrong direction, this is part of the puzzle that we've got to try and solve.
One of the things that seems confusing, Russell, is they're sort of neither fish nor fowl, these bikes. They're sort of, they feel like they're too fast to go on those shared bike and pedestrian lanes, and then they're not quite fast enough to go on the roads.
Yeah, and again, you're right. When things like this come into the road safety space, they often come in, I guess, with unintended consequences. I think obviously, from other agendas, if you like, e-bikes, e-scooters might have appeared to have been a solution, and in some cases they might be. But I think there's also, with anything new, and let's face it, we saw the same thing really with mobile phones. Mobile phones came into our lives so quickly, very quickly found themselves into cars, very quickly found themselves into our road network, and as a result now, distraction's a major thing of what we're trying to deal with in terms of reducing road fatalities and road injuries. And you're right, when these things sort of don't quite fit, in either space, again, it's, as you said in your intro, I think when we're looking at the complexity of this issue, it's not just collisions with these devices and vehicles. Clearly, there's also a significant issue with them colliding with pedestrians as well. And they're very quick. They can be unstable in terms, as I said, of their dynamics, and they're also fairly silent. So as a pedestrian, you can't see them coming as well.
Russell White, the Chair of the Australian Road Safety Foundation, thanks for that. Associate Professor Ben Livings from the Adelaide Uni School of Law is on the line now. Professor, what are the legal? And thank you for joining us. What are some of the sort of new legal challenges that e-scooters throw up?
Good morning. I think the main challenge, and I agree with all of what Russell's just said, strikes me that they're quite complicated rules that exist around them, and they are routinely flouted. So I think probably the main problem they present is difficulties with enforcement. I mean, just yesterday, anticipating this call this morning, just yesterday walking home, I was passed by numerous people who had passengers, which is not supposed to be happening, numerous people without helmets, which again, you should be wearing helmets. And you quite frequently see privately, and this is not so much the higher ones, but privately owned ones that are way beyond the power capacity that you should be having on the, or that should be allowed, which probably gets around this idea of them being too slow to keep up with traffic. So when they're on the roads, they do seem a little bit vulnerable. But it's clearly not something that's being regulated or policed as people might like it to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Great stuff. Associate Professor Ben Livings from we now call it Adelaide University Law School.
Adelaide University.
Not the University of Adelaide, it's Adelaide University.
28 minutes after 7, 5AA News is coming up. Then immediately after it, Matt Abraham will join us for the first time in 2026. We've got the Coalition in disarray, a big press conference that the Nationals are holding in about 33 minutes' time, and a state election campaign that is well and truly underway. We'll get all of Matt's thoughts next.
Hey guys, it's Hayley from Adelaide. World Travel Fest is back Sunday, February 8, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Join us, Adelaide, and over 60 travel providers, airlines and cruise lines all under one roof. Discover the hottest offers from family escapes to luxury getaways, cruise deals and more. Plus, inspiring travel talks, entertainment and win one of 4 incredible travel prizes. Entry is free Sunday, February 8, Convention Centre. Register at pht.com.au.
Are the potatoes done?
30 seconds.
What about the desserts? For over 12,000 South Australians, the most important meal of the day is from Meals on Wheels.
Hey, Amanda.
Hi, Roger. How are you? Behind the meals and behind the wheels are our wonderful volunteers. Amanda, hello. Smells delicious. Become a volunteer today and help us keep the wheels turning. See you tomorrow, Chris. Visit mealsonwheelssa.org.au for details.
Now, don't miss this tomorrow, folks, for Australia Day. We're celebrating in the best possible way. The one and only Ned McHenry's coming in, and he's bringing fish with him, his freshest local catch, straight into the 5AA kitchen, and I'm going to be right there with him. We're going to have a lot of fun cooking up a proper Aussie seafood feast, and it's going to be a recipe that is going to become one of your go-tos. It's an absolute doddle to cook. It's got 4 ingredients, and the thing is, you don't just have to listen. You can watch it all too through the miracle of television on the 5AA live stream tomorrow morning for an absolute treat.
He'll probably come in straight off the boat, Ned, I'd reckon. Every time you choose South Australian seafood, you're supporting local fishers, local businesses and local jobs. From the water to the market to the plate. So this Australia Day, buy the best, support local, buy SA seafood and cook up a feast. Thanks to Brand SA.
Launch into 2026 behind the wheel of your brand new Mawson Lakes Volkswagen. The New Year clearance is on now with new and demo Volkswagens priced to clear. Want immediate delivery? You got it. Want easy finance options? Done. Hurry in for your perfect model and colour. The sooner you get to the showroom, the better your chance of scoring your dream car. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen's New Year clearance sale. Ends soon, so hurry. Salisbury Highway, just a short drive from the city.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Partly cloudy and 27 today with the 7:30 news. Good morning, I'm Mel Usher.
Getting fit, your New Year's resolution? Book a Pilates and group exercise class at Physio Extra. 6 locations.
A Liberal MP is hoping the band gets back together as soon as possible amid fresh concerns for the future of the federal coalition. 11 Nationals, including leader David Littleproud, have quit their frontbench roles over their Liberal Party support for the government's hate crime laws. The Nats believe the legislation is flawed and some Liberals, like Alex Antic, agree. But Senator Antic wouldn't be drawn on whether the matter will hurt opposition leader Susan Lee.
I don't think it's helpful when you've got colleagues saying they're resigning from cabinet. So I don't think you could ever say it's helpful. But look, I mean, leaders have to live and die by their decisions. That really matters for Susan.
Flags will fly at half-mast today. Australia is observing a national day of mourning, honouring the victims and those impacted by the Bondi Beach terror attack. The massacre happened on December 14. There's been a home invasion at Holden Hill. Senior Constable Daniel Isaacson says it happened on Naretha Street just before 3:30 this morning.
The homeowner was confronted and a grey Toyota Camry was stolen, and luckily nobody was injured.
The car left but crashed a short time later into parked cars on Gaelic Avenue. The car will be forensically analysed. The hunt for the offenders is continuing. All of Sydney's northern beaches are closed again today following the recent spate of shark attacks. More from Max White.
Once again this morning, swimming at all beaches north of the Harbour Bridge is being ruled out. Northern Beaches Council extending the closure following attacks at North Stane and Dee Why on Monday. The decision follows an assessment from the Department of Primary Industry and Surf Life Saving New South Wales, who deemed the water still too murky, therefore too dangerous for people to return to the surf. It's understood another assessment will be carried out this afternoon.
Mystery remains over the cause of death of a Canadian teenager found on a Kagari beach. The body of 19-year-old Piper James was discovered on Monday morning surrounded by a pack of dingoes. An autopsy was conducted on her body yesterday. The coroner says more tests are required to determine the cause. Donald Trump says he won't use force to seize Greenland, but insists US ownership of the territory is still necessary for global security. In an aside to European leaders in Switzerland, he reminded them if it wasn't for America, they'd all be speaking German. The dispute is spiralling into a trade war, but he's ruling out military action.
We probably won't get anything unless I decide to use excessive strength and force where we would be, frankly, unstoppable. But I won't do that.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Order a new Gliderol garage door before the end of Feb and the operator is free. T's and C's apply.
It's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Alex de Minaur's into the third round of the Australian Open, but overall day 4 was a bad one for the Aussies at Melbourne Park. Priscilla Hon, Jordan Thompson, Talia Gibson, Storm Hunter and Isla Tomljanovic all losing. Day 4 of the Open was officially the highest ever attended in the event's history, with 103,720 going through the gates. Well, Adelaide's Dan Curtin will miss at least the first 6 weeks of the season after the club decided they'd send him in for surgery. Curtin dislocated his kneecap on Monday at training during a drill with captain Jordan Dawson. To cycling, Denmark's Tobias Lund Andersen has taken out stage 1 of the Tour Down Under. That's after a thrilling sprint finish in Tanunda. The 23-year-old, who's now riding for new team Decathlon, was understandably thrilled with the result.
Oh, this feels amazing. I can't remember the last time I felt like this. This is unbelievable. And the new team, the bike is so fast, and my teammates doing an incredible job.
Yeah, great result there for him. Let's that audio thanks to Channel 7. Well, the star-studded Melbourne Stars have been knocked out of the Big Bash finals after a thrilling rain-affected loss to the Hobart Hurricanes. The Stars needed 26 runs off the final over, but fell 3 runs short, as heard on Fox Cricket.
5 from 1. The Stars have a chance. And Mitch Owen has delivered the most ridiculous game. The Hurricanes, the defending champions, they've won it.
Unbelievable finish there. And in some European Champions League action to finish, games are entering the second half. Liverpool is currently 1-0 up against Marseille. Newcastle is 2-0 in front of PSV Eindhoven, while Chelsea and Greek side Paphos are locked at 0-0. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Lynn Andrews Real Estate, experts in commercial and residential property management. lynnandrews.com.au.
Crash at Croydon to look out for this morning. She's on the north-south motorway near Hawker Street. Quite big delays inbound through there. A couple of burst water mains at Norwood, Kensington Road and Portrush Road intersections. Really busy through there this morning. And Vista Road's closed due to a previous crash. Lower North East Road to Perseverance Road. 2 and under day 6 today around Norwood and Uradla in the hills. Look out for detours and a camera Coventry Road Cutler. Quitting smoking can be hard, but it's easy with proven tools and support. Search Give Up for Good or download the new My Quit Buddy app. This message is brought to you by the Australian Government, Canberra. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA weather.
With lots of C-Max trials to choose from, there's something for everyone. Visit cmax.com.au and register today.
We're heading for a top of 27 today and sunny. Sunny tomorrow, 35. Saturday, mostly sunny and a very hot 42. Then back to 34 and sunny on Sunday. Right now, it's 15 degrees on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
I choose to get my exercise in with a side of sunrise.
I choose Keaton for a home that really feels like one.
We choose to start the weekend early.
On Thursdays.
Sometimes Wednesdays.
I choose to step up, not slow down.
I choose what's going to work best for me.
I choose my place. I choose confidence. I choose Keaton. Ready to explore what's possible? Visit keaton.com.au.
Aussie kids aren't active kids. Creative kids. Sporty kids. Are you a Weet-Bix kid?
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
I was, I'm bugging. This is Democracy Manifest.
You're eating the dogs. I tell you what, any boss who sacks anyone for not turning up today is a bum.
Matt. Yes, for the first time in 2026 in a target-rich environment, Matt Abraham joins us in the 5AA Breakfast studio. Matt, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, David. Great to see you, Matt. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you guys.
We have spoken. We've been texting each other a bit.
Yes.
There's been lots to talk about, hasn't there?
There's been a bit of Writers' Week texts going. There's been a lot of writing about Writers' Week, but encapsulated in little texts. I've been thinking about Writers' Week a fair bit. Why haven't I been invited?
Yeah,
you're an excellent writer.
You're
a
writer? Well, maybe I haven't written anything interesting in the last 52 years, but I'd like to think there was an odd glimmer.
No, maybe you haven't written anything that all of the people who normally go to would agree with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I've been thinking about Writers' Week and the fact that it's obviously not going ahead this year. Yes, not going ahead this year, but next year. And, it could quite easily disappear up its own clacker and 99.5% of the South Australian population wouldn't miss it at all. I was talking to a government minister about this, and this is give you a little bit of a reflection in the government because this thing has worried them. I'll come to that in a moment, but they said vastly more people applied for a ballot for the opening day of the Aquatic Centre than attended Writers' Week. And they have to pay. Writers' Week's free. So what I would call, and maybe a lot of people go to Writers' Week, maybe there's an overlap. They're also going to the Aquatic Centre. This person was also amazed when I pressed them on the fact that why are they charging people who've won a ballot for the first day to go to the Aquatic Centre? Yeah. Why isn't it free? So watch this space. But so that's sort of the thinking in terms of putting it in perspective. I know it's been I don't think it's been a storm in a teacup. I think there's some very big issues that come out of the sacking of the pro-Palestinian writer, Louise Adler's resignation. But the government knew this was coming. One way or another, the government knew this was coming before Bondi. So Peter Malinauskas knew that this was something the government was going to have a position on because the board had decided to not have. They didn't want Dr. Rada on the program. Louise Adler defied them.
And this was in September last year.
Yeah.
When it all blew up. And the board were going to try to sack it.
Yeah.
They got Crown law advice and were told that they couldn't.
So the board, one of the questions I've put to government people I've been talking about this is, look, why don't you do a root and branch review of the board? Why don't you just go through them? Not just this board and the previous board, but the governance of the Adelaide Festival and Writers' Week. And they said, well, they did it. They did their own, quite comprehensive one, and that was one of the findings from it. So they knew this particular train was sort of careering down the tracks, and then Bondi happened, and Bondi changed a lot of things for the government because it had to have a position. Well, what's our position going to be on this? Are we just going to ignore it, or are we going to confront it? And I think I'm fairly safe in saying that the Premier's thinking was, well, either one way or another we've got to take a stand on this, okay? So I either take a stand that doesn't align with my principles and then I'll have to defend it, or I take a stand that does align with my principles or my current thinking and I have to defend it. And it's a lot easier to defend something that you genuinely feel and you've thought through than something that you're defending when it's, like an Albanese defence where it ends up being a total mess for you because it's indefensible.
I don't think Mally did this for political reasons, but there are political repercussions from it. And I'd love to hear your thoughts, Matt, because I struggle to see what the political downside is for him out of this. If you think about it, the type of people who go to Riders Week, they are all overwhelmingly skew green left.
They do now, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going now to see the Colleen McCullochs.
John Updike. Harold,
Thomas Keneally's.
Allen Ginsberg. It used to be a much more diverse lineup.
It's more the Dullarati now, isn't it?
The Dullarati. But don't you think if these people are angry at Malinauskas, they're not going to suddenly start voting Liberal?
I've got nowhere to go.
They might leave Labor. They might be Labor left type people who go, bugger up, I'm never voting Labor again, I'm going to vote for the Greens. Well, those votes come back via preferences anyway.
Yeah. But I can't see. Look,
the 5AA text
I can't see a
line-
downside apart from the fact that it was probably a distraction from the run up to an election campaign. But I can't see, politically, I don't think he's burnt capital here.
We have had dozens and dozens of texts though from people saying I'm traditionally a Liberal supporter, and I am really impressed that Malinauskas has stood up as a matter of principle. I'm sick of seeing my tax dollars being wasted on these festivals where people get together to agree with each other about all of their pet causes. I think the biggest distraction from all of this has been poor old Ashton Hearn trying to get some oxygen in the 6th week of her leadership. And between Bondi and this, what's been your most memorable Ashton Hearn moment of January?
Well, the fact that somebody apparently inside the Liberal team's leaking against us is the main story coming out of the Liberal pre-election campaign at the moment. But one of the things, I've read Louise Adler's piece in The Guardian after, she quit in high dudgeon. There was one paragraph really stood out to me, which sort of encapsulates to me the angst here, I suppose. She says increasingly extreme and repressive efforts of pro-Israel lobbyists to stifle even the mildest criticism has had a chilling effect on free speech and democratic institutions. The new mantra, Bondi changed everything, and she's got that in inverted commas, has offered this lobby, its stenographers in the media, and a spineless political class yet another coercive weapon. Hence, in 2026, the board, in an atmosphere of intense political pressure, has issued an edict that an author is to be cancelled. The thing that really stood out to me is that phrase, Bondi changed everything, because this is something that particularly the pro-Palestinian left is having trouble coming to terms with, because it can't be business as usual after Bondi. If you get people massacred at a peaceful event on a beach in Australia, in Sydney, it can't be business as usual again. You can't say, oh, well, this is the mantra of these stenographers in the media and a spineless political class. Well, I think that our political class has shown a lot of spine here in South Australia, and the Premier's shown a lot of spine. He didn't have to take a stand on this. And I think his stance, and I'm not saying Louise Adler isn't a genuine and intelligent and passionate advocate of free speech. I'm not saying that at all. But the Premier supports Writers' Week, because the government could defund Writers' Week. Like if they have a successful guerrilla Writers' Week this year, the government could quite easily say, oh, okay, well, you can have one next year too. You can pay for Writers' Week.
Well, they do want public money for the guerrilla one, do they?
That's right.
Yeah, well, you know.
I did love all these.
Good luck with that.
Outspoken leftists suddenly sounding like Elon Musk on free speech, by the way, too. I thought that was one of the most comical moments of the entire thing.
Yeah.
Hey, let's take a quick break.
Yes.
There's lots going on in politics today that we're going to get to with Matt Abraham in just a moment. In fact, in the next 15 minutes, the Nationals are holding a press conference federally, but we're in the midst of a state election campaign as well. We'll get Matt's thoughts on how that is all heading in just a moment. This summer, the feeling starts with a test drive at the new Jarvis Toyota Brighton Road.
Croydon a smash on the north-south motorway to look out for this morning. Quite heavy delays inbound. Norwood a burst waterway, Port Rice Road near Kensington Road. That will be busy for the drive-in. And Vista Road closed due to a previous crash. Lower North East Road near Perseverance Road. Tour down under, up around through Norwood and Uradela today. Look out for detours around there and a camera Hargrave Street, Peterhead. Audio is more powerful than you think. For advertising with real power, start with commercial radio and audio where brands are heard. Visit cra.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Fluorio Milk Company will always put SA first, and you can too. When you reach for milk, reach for Fluorio Milk Company products and support our dairy farmers and their families. We guarantee that all our milk is 100% South Australian and it's always fresh. We have over 24 refrigerated trucks shipping Fluorio milk to cafes, restaurants and supermarkets all over SA. Look for the local in your supermarket. Fluorio Milk Company. We're for SA dairy farmers.
On Booking.com, it's easy to book your holiday home. So if you're bored of this...
Guys, found an apartment. The price just jumped up.
With us, there's no hidden fees. Booking.com, booking.yeah.
When it comes to dining out, if you're after a place that does it all, head for 150A King William Road, Hyde Park.
By day, it's the ever-popular Hello Neighbour, open 7 days for brunch and lunch. Warm, relaxed and instantly welcoming. They've got great coffee, generous plates and a menu of proper brunch favourites.
And then as the sun goes down, Wednesday to Saturday, the same venue transforms into Artusi by night, an intimate Italian dinner experience.
Artusi's Gnoccheria and Pasta Bar offers fresh gnocchi, handmade daily from 6 p.m. right in front of you. Rich sauces, steak and fish mains, and they cater for gluten-free, celiac and vegans.
So whether it's brunch with friends or a dinner date, you'll find it all at one address. Hello Neighbour by day, Artusi by night for dinner. 150A King William Road, Hyde Park.
A smashed or damaged windscreen can happen in a heartbeat, but it does get worse if you don't go to your local Complete Windscreens to get it fixed. You could be waiting weeks, and look, that's not on. Complete Windscreens has windscreens and glass for all makes and models in stock right now with 15 technicians standing by to get you back on the road. You don't need to wait. Tell your insurance company you want Complete Windscreens on the job, completewindscreens.com.au. Look for the big red koala.
Hi, I'm Bronte Manuel from Toop and Toop. A new year brings new beginnings and Adelaide's property market is already alive with opportunity. Dream homes are being listed, offers are being made, and those ready to act are already a step ahead. At Toop and Toop, we don't just open doors. We help you move towards what's next. So if 2026 is your year for change, we're here to help you take the next step with confidence. We've proudly been South Australia's trusted advisors in real estate since 1985. Visit toop.com.au today.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Joined in the studio by Matt Abraham, if you're watching on Facebook or the YouTube live stream. The first time in 2026. Matt, we are a couple of months out from the state election. What's your assessment of how it's played out to this point in time and what's the next sort of big moment that's coming up?
Well, I don't think that we'll hear anything more from the government about Riders Week until after the election, which I think the government will win handsomely. It may win the upper house as well. That's something really worth looking at. If it's two-party preferred or a primary vote, it stays as high as it is. We might see, for the first time in a long time, the government controlling both houses. After the election, though, I do think, just quickly, I don't think the government will have finished with Writers' Week or the Adelaide Festival. We will have the Bell Royal Commission into Anti-Semitism, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if the government refers, because governments can do this, but officially refers the Royal Commission to look into the impact of the cultural sector, festivals, on Australian attitudes towards Jews, towards Zionists, towards Israel, towards anti-Semitism. And that would be, so we may be operating by the time the next Writers' Festival come around in a very different environment, in terms of hate speech laws and a whole lot of other things. So put that aside. That's off the agenda for the government as they try and focus on this. I was actually having a look at the Pendulum last night and also Anthony Green's breakdown, and you forget how messy the scene is, particularly for the Liberals. But it's going to be a messy state election. Actually, on my Pendulum, I've had to put a couple of little notes. There's not a lot of space there, so I just put J for jail for one former independent whose the seat of Mount Gambier is vacant. Another, I was just going to put AB for ankle bracelet, who's hasn't resigned. That's Nick McBride in McKillop. You've got Dan Cregan, who's retiring, so that seat's up for grabs. You've got Bone running in Norwood. Listening, driving in, I don't know why he didn't pick a seat that would possibly be winnable as an independent. He's
having a Mal Meninga, God bless him. He's a total waste of time.
I don't know why he's doing it, or why he wouldn't stand for the upper house. Actually, probably have a chance of getting a quota, but I don't think that'll go anywhere in Dunstan, formerly Norwood. So it certainly for the Liberals, it's messy, and there have been leaks. We don't know where these are coming from, but the moniker. It's a Proton email, so you can't trace it as source, but it's Ashton Circus. It comes through as Ashton Circus, which is a play, obviously, on Ms. Ashton's surname. And it has been leaking shadow cabinet documents. So it's been about 4 emails so far, 3 or 4 emails, and they've flagged an event that's coming up today. That sort of stuff. I don't know who's doing it. I don't know if it's just some rogue person in Parliament House who's not connected to a party but just hate the Liberals, or it's a disaffected Liberal, or it's part of the Labor dirt unit. I sort of doubt that. That's very high risk for the Labor Party. Very high risk.
There seems to be too much genuine Liberal Party material in it for it to be a Labor person.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Unless somebody's the world's worst photocopy clerk, like you've got to...
Doesn't politics just attract total miscreants?
Yeah.
Like, who's the weirdo sitting in his mum's attic sending these emails to you and me?
I just ask, who in the Liberal Party right now is a staffer working for a politician who feels as though the member they work for is so confident that they're going to remain in politics after the next election that they would seek to undermine Ashton Hearn? Yeah, like, that must be one of, 2 people?
I know.
Genuinely.
I know.
You are undermining to put yourself on the unemployment line. It's the most stupid undermining I've ever heard of in my life.
With polling showing they might hold 3 seats if they're lucky.
Yeah, who's so confident? You could probably whittle it down pretty quickly, I would have thought.
Don't you reckon the other part of this is every single time Ashton Hearn releases a policy, it feels like the Malinowskis government has got about 27 highly paid ex-journo media advisors on standby to kick it to death about it. Like, they just go so hard. They do it with the regional road funding. Like, the Libs have basically got, like, who have they got? Didn't Ben Avery go there?
Yeah, yes. Ben Avery just left him.
Ben Avery. Yep. They've got like
Haley McDonald.
Two people.
Yeah.
So every time they put something out, Labor, and this is the benefit of incumbency, in opposition you rant about, the government spin unit. The moment you get into government, you don't just keep the spin unit, you expand it. But it's like this sort of full court press where they deploy literally dozens of people to gang up on this staff of 2 sitting on a fold-out table from Bunnings in the bowels of North Terrace.
That's exactly what happens. And actually, if you add up in government and throughout government, there are hundreds of spin doctors. There are hundreds in every, Department of Health.
Have you still got your contact book, Matt, from the Bannon era?
Yes.
How many press techs did Bannon have?
He had Mike Rann. He had Jill Bottrell. This is in opposition or in government.
When he became Premier, when Bannon became Premier, so what was that, in the 1980s?
In his office, I think it was
2 people, 3?
Yeah. Two. There were 2, and a strange guy who carried an old leather kit bag who organised a centre. I know that was with Bannon, organised a centre left. I never knew what he did, that guy. You know, one of the old Sullivan's era's kit bags?
Yeah.
The leather ones, you know, people used to have it on their... Well, yeah. But apparently that's what he did. But with Rand, I think Rand had two press secs. But Rand didn't need more press secs because he was a manic spin doctor himself.
Right. He got it. When I was in my brief period of politics, the press corps then was Channel 10's political reporter was Adam Todd. Channel 9's was Tom Richardson. The chief political reporter at the Advertiser was Dan Wills. The chief political reporter at the ABC was Nick Harmson. Every single one of them works in Mally's office now. The only person who didn't was Mike Smithson. I don't know what Smith
What's wrong with Smitho? Come on. Update your CV, for God's sake.
Hey, Cat, that's right.
We're at about 4 minutes away from the Nationals making some kind of public statement about the coalition in disarray. What's your expectation of what's going to happen?
Well, I think Susan Lee will not be leader for much longer, surely. She can't be. You know, what is it? The first time the coalition implodes is understandable. The second time, so this is the second, basically, bust-up of the coalition. So it will cease to exist. The One Nation vote sitting above the coalition vote for the first time.
Her and David Littleproud, they're like the Liz Taylor and Richard Burton of politics, aren't they?
Come back. The One Nation vote may be interesting in South Australia. I don't know where that's going, and the coalition instability will not be helping the South Australian Liberals either. I do think there's a wash through on that.
Sarah Games' decision to leave the party because the branding was holding her back has aged like milk, hasn't it?
Yeah, that was a good move.
Yeah.
Well, Bone will get her out of trouble.
Oh, that's it. Not a problem there.
Matt?
Yes, now we've got to have some spin.
Yes, we need some spin, don't we?
Yes.
I've got to find my spin button. I haven't pushed it in a while. Anyway, you start talking.
Okay, let's start with Premier Peter Malinauskas. Hang
on.
Oh, here we go.
Matt.
Look at that well-oiled machine.
I was just going to say that.
Let's start with Premier Peter Malinauskas when he was asked whether he would say the sorry word.
Well, the facts have now been proven, and my principles haven't changed. Now, if other people are changing their position, that's for them to explain, but I won't be.
Apology?
Me? What for? I'm not sure what for. I don't say that belligerently. I just don't know what for.
Apology? Well, me? I mean, that's a zero spin now. There's just no spin there. Now, as we know, Donald Trump's going to invade Greenland.
He's not now.
Oh, he's not? Oh, don't tell me that.
He's changed his mind.
Yeah.
Oh, he's changed his mind. He's not going to invade.
Yeah, he's back down.
Oh, thank heavens. Our share portfolio will be restored sometime later today.
Superannuation's about to bounce back.
But anyway, this is, I thought it was the Norwegian Prime Minister speaking about Donald Trump, but it actually turns out to be somebody called Pernille Harland.
Okay, I just got a little text message from Trumpy Lumpy, and he is not very happy. He's not interested in purely peace anymore. No, because he didn't get the Nobel Peace Prize. So diplomacy now is just a participation trophy problem. He also writes he doesn't feel obligated to just think about peace. No, now he's just going to think about the United States of America. So he's basically saying he's a mad dog let off the leash. He then writes that he is seeking total control of Greenland. He should seek a brain scan. This guy thinks he's playing Monopoly. I mean, I only have one thing to say, and that is Ufta.
Ufta.
Oh, can we say that?
Well, yes, we can. Because producer M back there tells me that's one of her favourite words, and it's
Be careful, she's got a lot of favourite words we can't say on the air.
I know. Well, apparently, but it wouldn't melt in my mouth. But it just means, oh dear.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
apparently in Norway.
thought it was some Norwegian cuss word.
That's a comedian, by the way, doing a send-up at the Norwegian province. Trumpy lumpy.
Ball or Aristotle?
I'll give him 7 out of 10. Oof, down, Matt.
Good to have you back, Matt.
Should be the word of the year. Oof,
The latest local, national and international news for South Australia. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Partly cloudy and 27 today with the 8 o'clock news. Good morning, I'm Mel Usher.
Start the new year right with Physio Extra Pilates and group exercise classes. Book at physioextra.com.
As the Nationals front the cameras, a Labor frontbencher has slammed their infighting. 11 senior Nationals, including leader David Littleproud, have quit their frontbench roles in protest of hate crime laws. Social Services Minister Tanya Plibersek says it's disappointing to see the opposition has made this week about themselves.
And now they're not even a coalition anymore. They're falling apart at the seams at a time when we need stability and unity and adult behaviour.
It's a national day of mourning today to honour those killed in the Bondi Beach terror attack. The theme is The Light Will Win. The sails of the Sydney Opera House will glow bright white for the Jewish community. A car has been stolen during a home invasion at Holden Hill. A homeowner on Naretha Street was confronted by 3 people shortly before 3:30 this morning. The trio left in their Toyota Camry. Senior Constable Daniel Isaacson says the car was found a short time later, crashed into parked cars on Gaelic Avenue.
Investigations to locate the people responsible are continuing. If anybody has any information or witnessed this, we just ask them to contact Crime Stoppers 1800 333 000.
And there's been a car fire at Greenland. It happened on Provident Avenue late last night. It's being treated as arson. Chris McDermott says no one is more surprised than him that he's running in the upcoming state election. He'll be on the ballot for Sarah Game's Fair Go for Australians party in the seat of Dunstan. The legendary footballer and coach and man behind the Little Heroes Foundation says he has a long history in the electorate.
I'm largely knowledge in this area through and through. My kids went to school at Marrickville Primary, at Pembroke. I shop at Foodland. I love walking up and down the parade. It's just been a really big part of my life.
Foreign students are exploiting the migration system to gain working rights in Australia. That's according to a new report. Analysis by the Menzies Research Centre details an increase in course hopping, with students dropping out of uni shortly after arriving. Students from overseas are most likely to leave lower cost in capital city branch campuses. A handful of artists have been inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame. The class of 2026 includes Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley from Kiss, as well as Taylor Swift, and Terry Britton, who's written hits for people like Cliff Richard.
She's just a devil woman with evil on her mind. Beware the devil woman, she's gonna get you. She's just
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Order a new Gliderol garage door before the end of Feb and the operator is free. T's and C's apply.
It's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Alex de Minaur has progressed to the 3rd round on an otherwise tough day for the Aussies at the Australian Open. Craig Gabriel reports.
Alex de Minaur was the only Australian to reach the 3rd round on day 4 action. He finished very strongly against Hamad Medjedovic. Storm Hunter, Jordan Thompson, Ajla Tomljanovic, Priscilla Hon and Talia Gibson all bowed out. Gibson did have match points. Conditions were a bit erratic and at night rain interrupted play. Late at night, Cam Norrie and Jasmine Paolini had wins. Arina Sabalenka, Coco Gauff and Carlos Alcaraz all won comfortably.
To football now. Adelaide ruckman Riley O'Brien insists there's no issues with Isaac Rankin despite the star leaving the track early during yesterday's session. O'Brien telling Rowie and Timmy G he was quickly back into things.
Yeah, no, Ranks was fine. He had a little knock and then he obviously played out. That was before match sim and he played out match sim. So he would never do that if there was any sort of injury there. So he's fine.
The club has confirmed Dan Curtin will be having surgery to repair a dislocated kneecap, meaning he'll miss at least the first 6 rounds of the season. Well, stage 1 of the Tour Down Under has been won by Danish rider Tobias Lund Andersen. Stage 2 will begin in Norwood this morning. To cricket now, the Hobart Hurricanes have moved into the Challenger final after a thrilling 3-run win against the Melbourne Stars overnight. The Hurricanes will now take on the Sydney Sixers for a spot in Sunday's grand final. That'll be against the Scorchers in Perth. Meantime, India has defeated New Zealand by 48 runs in their T20 International in Nagpur overnight. Let's get to soccer. Liverpool has taken a 1-0 lead in its Champions League clash against Marseille. thanks to a clever free kick just before half-time.
Szoboszlai does score. Disguised the shot, kept it low, Liverpool lead. Clever.
Audio there thanks to Stan Sport. Meantime, in other games, Newcastle is 3-0 up against PSV Eindhoven, while Chelsea and Pafos are locked at 0-0. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Lynn Andrews Real Estate, experts in commercial and residential property management. lynnandrews.com.au.
Got awful delays this morning at Croydon. It's due to a smash on the north-south motorway near Hawker Street. Delays are really heavy inbound back to the Wingfield interchange. Leave early if you must head that way. More delays with the burst watermain at Norwood, Kensington Road near Portrush Road, and Vista Road's closed from an earlier crash. Lower North East Road at Perseverance Road. Camera, Torrens Road, Pennington. The King Living Summer Sale is in its final days. Save up to 50% on selected Australian Design Award-winning furniture. Hurry, final day. Shop online or visit a King Living showroom today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
With lots of C-Max trials to choose from, there's something for everyone. Visit cmax.com.au and register today.
A sunny Thursday on the way with a top of 27. Sunny tomorrow, 35. Saturday, mostly sunny, 42. Back to 34 on Sunday. Right now, it's 16 degrees on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
The world's best are coming to South Australia for the first race of the global cycling season. The Santos Tour Down Under will take over the state with cycling's biggest names battling it out. Brutal climbs, tight sprints, from the heart of Adelaide to the rolling vineyards and coastlines beyond. It's racing up close and personal. It's absolutely unmissable. Tour the action only at the Santos Tour Down Under. January 16 to 25. Learn more at tourdownunder.com.au.
Get saving now with City Discount Tyres. We're offering great deals on the world's top brands in tyres, wheels, suspension and parts. Suitable for four-wheel drives, SUVs and passenger cars, including Falcon, Michelin, Pirelli, Kumho, Hankook and many more. Finance options available. Search citydiscounttires.com.au and locate your nearest dealer today. City Discount Tyres. We're driven by value.
Launch into 2026 behind the wheel of your brand new Mawson Lakes Volkswagen. The New Year clearance is on now with new and demo Volkswagens priced to clear. Want immediate delivery? You got it. Want easy finance options? Done. Hurry in for your perfect model and colour. The sooner you get to the showroom, the better your chance of scoring your dream car. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen's New Year clearance sale. Ends soon, so hurry. Salisbury Highway, just a short drive from the city.
Trafalgar's big tour sale is on now with Phil Hoffman Travel. Save up to 15% on 2026 tours, including the Britain and Ireland Grandeur Tour, a 20-day journey from London return from $9,365 per person, twin share. Explore iconic capitals, ancient castles and breathtaking coastlines throughout England, Scotland, Wales and Ireland. Phil Hoffman Travel voted Australia's most outstanding travel agency in 2025. 13-time winner. Visit pht.com.au.
In Adelaide and across South Australia, this is 5AA, always Adelaide. 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Nine minutes after 8. Breaking 8 coming up in just a moment. Big hour ahead. Breaking news as we speak, in fact. The Nationals leader, David Littleproud, has just fronted a press conference in Canberra. Here's a little bit of what he had to say.
The National Party acted in good faith all the way along. We acted in good faith to get to this position. But we could not be forced into voting for a position. The National Party is our own sovereign party. And Susan Lee cannot force us to vote one way or another. And when we have not breached any process, any procedure of the coalition, we've been respectful. For then to get to a position where three of our senators who are in shadow cabinet spots are being asked to resign.
You heard a little bit of it there, but scathing. Kevin Hogan, the Deputy Nationals leader, and David Littleproud of Susan Lee, describing her role in this as mismanagement. Real question marks around the viability of the coalition. It would appear to be being read its last rites as we speak. In fact, which leads us neatly into breaking it.
Well, to discuss further what is very much a moving situation with the coalition and the future of the relationship between the Liberal and National parties, we're joined by one of South Australia's most senior and prominent Liberal Party voices. Conservative Senator Alex Antic is on the line now. Alex, good morning, and thank you for your time. Asking you to give a real-time précis of where things are at might be putting you on the spot in a particularly cruel fashion. But can I ask you, winding back, given the amount of criticism that Anthony Albanese was facing post-Bondi over his handling of everything from hate preachers to immigration, ISIS brides, what have you, how is it that the coalition has ended up being the party, the two parties that are now suffering the most politically from all of this?
Yeah, well, Bimbo, it's a good question and a very fair one, I think. I mean, this was, people were rightly asking the question of the Prime Minister, what are you doing to handle the situation? And somehow that swung around to this giant, kind of issue that's now facing us. So, look, that should never have happened. In my view, the very simple way of avoiding that would have been to simply vote no to the original omnibus bill, the one that covered over about 4 different sections of life and represented something like a 25-year high point in terms of changes to our entire system. It's very simple. I mean, there was no time to consider it. And somehow there has been a decision made which gave us this sort of halfway house, which turned a diabolical bill into a terrible one. And here we are talking about ourselves again. It's just incredibly frustrating. Look, I haven't caught up with what David has said, and these are all matters for the Nationals. But the Nationals joined me and crossed the floor to vote against the hate groups bill, probably the better way of putting it. And so they should have. It was terrible law. It is terrible law, and they shouldn't be punished for that.
When you look at it in the broader context with the surge in support for One Nation, do you think that the Liberals are suffering from a lack of clarity around their messaging on issues that people are genuinely energised by, such as immigration?
Well, look, Pembo, far be it from me to point out that I'm right once again, but I'm right once again. And 2 years ago, I think I copped them. I don't really listen to most of it, but I copped a bit of a spray from the media here in SA about a pre-selection speech where I said to the pre-selectors of the Liberal Party that One Nation were breathing down our throat because of the manner in which we go about politics and the fact that we're not dealing with common sense Australia. And that got me heavily criticised for being alarmist. I think One Nation in SA were polling somewhere between 11 and 16%. It didn't quite flush out during the federal election, but still, they're now polling, according to the news poll, at 22% because they're showing the blueprint for where the Liberal Party should be. I mean, too long this party has been controlled by the managerial class and not pugilistic politicians who take the fight up like Pauline does, frankly. I mean, she's not everyone's cup of tea, but she seems to be resonating. And by the way, we're not talking about someone with a political science degree. We're not talking about some plucky 25-year-old political staffer that came up through the ranks. We're talking about a lady that ran a fish and chip shop. So this nonsense that politics is science and science is politics has got to stop. The analysis paralysis is over. I think that's what happened in Canberra. I think during the week, I think that the sensible position was just simply to reject this bill on a range of levels. Hadn't had enough time. That was one option. Terrible law. That was another option. But somehow we chose the middle door and went straight through the cabinet into Narnia.
The case you make about the attractiveness of Pauline Hanson and One Nation, Senator, is the one that some Nationals are contemplating when it comes to their future political allegiance. And there is reports that there are others that are either actively or maybe daydreaming about a switch to One Nation. You're saying that should be the blueprint for the Liberal Party into the future. Is it something you've contemplated?
No, it's not. I mean, as you well know and as we've well talked about, my vision for the political future of this state was to bring common sense people back into politics. We've been doing that for 5 years in the Liberal Party, and we've got a membership that now I think reflects common sense Australia. And so that's what I think works, because ultimately you need to have a democratic organisation that does its pre-selection properly and pre-selects the right candidate. The problem has been that politics has been sending people to Canberra, and this is the point I was trying to illustrate there, for too long through the Labor Party, through the union movement. Almost everybody in both parliaments has just been a trade unionist or a political staffer now. And this is what you get, if you're not... this was blatantly obvious. Aside from the fact that voting no to this bill, as I did, was the right thing to do, it was plainly obvious to me from the conversations that I've been having and what I was seeing online, by the way, on platforms like X, that people didn't want this. And look at what's happened. We were inundated yesterday with people ringing the office and saying thank you. Now, that's not the purpose of this, but there's just sort of this inability in some ranks of politics to put, their ear to the ground and feel the vibrations. And, focus groups and polling don't do that. That needs to stay away from politics in the future if we're to have any chance of success.
I've just been sent a little bit more of David Littleproud and what he had to say. Let's have a listen.
She will not, and from subsequent conversations, will not reinstate those 3 senators to the shadow cabinet positions. Therefore, the entire ministry resigned, but she has also forced the coalition into an untenable position that can no longer continue.
The coalition is untenable and cannot continue. What's your reaction to that, Alex?
Well, it feels like Groundhog Day, doesn't it? We dealt with this earlier in the year. And look, I understand the frustration. I hope that's not right, by the way. I hope there's a way through this. Obviously, I don't think there's much chance for either side of governing if the coalition does evaporate. And so something's got to happen. Something's got to change. We need, we need leadership to step up and arrest the slide. This is getting critical.
Just finally, Senator Antic, do you think Susan Lee can or indeed should survive as leader?
Look, as you know, I don't like to drift into, political yabbering, but that genuinely is a matter for the party room. I don't know. I don't know. I think this has been a very bad week for us all, and that always has to have a bearing on leadership aspirations, for better or worse. So, look, we'll see where it goes. I don't know really what the future holds now, but it's a bad week. We've had 4 news polls in a row now. It used to be the case that leaders lived and died on the basis of 1. So I'm not suggesting that's what's to happen here, but it's a pretty dark hour.
Senator Alex Antic, South Australian Liberal Senator, thank you for joining us this morning.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Tell you what, that last answer is about as lukewarm as an answer can get in terms of an endorsement.
Coupled with his second last answer about, these things require strong leadership.
Yeah.
I think it's clear. And I don't think he would be an orphan with those thoughts at the moment. I think most rank and file Liberal voters out there right now recognise there is a critical shortage of leadership and there needs to be a change. I think we've just reached that point.
Yeah, and the level of frustration coming through from those listeners who are among the number who are traditional Conservative supporters, I think that the word despair doesn't even come close to describing how they're all feeling at the moment. We pushed our other original Breaking at 8 back. Amazing developments within the notorious CFMEU, the Militant Construction Union, and its Victorian leadership, with a sudden resignation yesterday of Zach Smith, who is the Melbourne-based, was the Melbourne-based secretary of the construction union. Why does that matter here in Adelaide? Well, it matters because of the South Australian CFMEU, since its takeover by John Setka a few years ago, is still run out of Victoria. What does this mean for the local building industry and for people working in construction? We've got Will Frogley, the CEO of the Master Builders, on the line now. Will, this is total chaos, and doesn't it show the need for us to have our own locally run CFMEU rather than it being run by the much rattier branch over the border?
Yeah, absolutely, David. The administrator said quite a while ago that he wanted South Australia to be a standalone branch free from Victorian influence, but we're all waiting for that day to happen. Zach Smith's resignation yesterday is yet more chaos and dysfunction from the Victorian CFMEU. This is a man who ignored the administrator's instructions not to meet with organised crime figures. We've also seen the head of the Victorian CFMEU's redundancy fund, Incolink, resign recently. So, look, I don't think they were ever going to be able to withstand the pressure of the new environment. The Victorian CFMEU was able to do whatever the hell they wanted for a long time, and it's a very difficult organisation to reform. The Victorian construction industry, as you said, is absolutely notorious for its high insolvency rate, its corruption and its links to organised crime. And That's why a few years ago we were very public about our concerns about the Victorian CFMEU taking over the South Australian construction industry. And I guess, a few years later, as a proud South Australian, my heart really swells with pride that we as a state have emphatically rejected the Victorian CFMEU and what they stand for. The criminal behaviour, the prioritising of Victorian businesses and workers over our own and sending money to Victoria. They were very arrogant when they came in, David. They thought they could just do whatever the hell they wanted here as well, and we would just be a pushover. One of the very first things the Victorian CFMEU did when they took over the South Australian branch was try and quietly move all their insurance work out of Adelaide to an office, the office of a broker in Melbourne, who pays tens of millions of dollars a year to the Victorian CFMEU's redundancy fund, Ecolink. And Ecolink, as we've discussed before, gives millions and millions and millions of dollars to the Victorian CFMEU every year. But worst of all, the CFMEU didn't advise South Australian workers or employers of these changes to their insurance setup. So for quite a few months, South Australian workers and employers had no idea that the workers were left uninsured. They had no income protection insurance. Now, that was a really low act, and I think word got around the industry pretty quickly, and I'm sure that's why Ecolink has failed to gain any traction here, and CFMEU membership's plummeted.
Just finally, Will, is the CFMEU's structure, its internal structure, going to how states are run, a matter solely for the union, or is there a role for the state government, particularly given Labor's historic links to the Labor movement, to intervene and say that as a matter of principle, South Australian construction workers should be represented by a locally managed and operated union?
I think the state government wouldn't have the power to do that, but I think the administrator certainly has. The fact is that the CFMEU has very little support in South Australia, and that's why we've got a record number of construction workers in South Australia, a record number of construction businesses, and a record value of work done. So having said that, workers do need a reputable union, but it must...
Well, they particularly need it in SA, don't they, on the big jobs, where you've got the multiplexes and so on, who for whatever reason feel pressured or obliged to cut deals with the CFMEU as per the big building going up at the Central Market and so forth?
Look, at Master Builders SA, we just won't deal with the CFMEU until they're run by South Australians who actually have some pride in the state and are reputable and not just pushing a pro-Victorian agenda. Look, some people will say to me, David, Will, you have to cut deals with them, you have to have relationships with them, but that's easy for people to say from the sidelines. The fact is, if you're having a good relationship with the Victorian CFMEU and you're cutting deals with them, there's a decent chance you're illegal, and that's just not a path I'm going to go down.
Yeah, absolutely. History would suggest as much. Will Frogley, the CEO of the Master Builders Association, thanks for joining us.
All right, let's check traffic. This summer, the feeling starts with a test drive at the new Jarvis Toyota Brighton Road.
The 5AA Sports Show. Rowie and Timmy G.
South Australia got the Super Shield back in their hands.
Ton in the Shield finally did. Jake Lehman, Domestic Player of the Year, voted by his peers. He joins us now. Jake, I did look up the stats. Your dad did 3 in a row, so you've got 2 more years to tie it with him, Jake.
Adelaide's only local sports show.
Yeah, that was one of the first things you mentioned me.
The 5AA Sports Show. Weekday afternoons from 4 on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Awful delays this morning at Croydon. It's due to a smash in the north-south motorway near Hawker Street. Vista Road's closed due to a previous crash. Lower North East Road between Churchard Road and Perseverance Road. And Norwood Burst Watermain Portrush Road near Kensington Road today. Day 6 of the tour down under around Norwood and Uradla. Look out for detours around there with the camera Hanson Road, Wingfield. Kickstart your 2026 fitness goals with 2 months free at Anytime Fitness when you join this January. Plus get 24/7 access to over 600 clubs in Australia. Search Anytime Fitness. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Hi, I'm Lynn Andrews. The Lynn Andrews team have seen a lot of change in real estate over the past 50 years, but one thing remains unchanged: our passion to help people invest in their future. To build strong property portfolios in either the residential or the commercial sectors. Our commitment to property investment over the years means we have a wealth of knowledge to share. We're here to help you. Visit lynnandrews.com
Steinborner Automotive in Gawler, Nuriutpa and Clare has always been well worth a trip, even more so with their 42nd birthday sale. Steinborner has purchased over 400 certified vehicles, SUVs and 4x4s, all with free roadside assist, and ripped $500,000 off normal prices across the range, with $1,500 trade-in bonus on all trade-ins. Plus, deals on new and demo Hyundai, Ford, Mitsubishi, Jack and Mazda. Visit steinborner.com.au.
I'm high!
The Excelsior Hotel has always felt like home. And for seniors, it's always been great value with 20% discount on selected bistro meals. Yep, 20% off. Feeding the whole family? Bring them all Saturday or Sunday for live acoustic music from 5 p.m. And kids eat free. Some conditions apply. The Excelsior Hotel feels like home, but better. You just know it's a Barreau Hotel.
Home is where the heart is, and there's no place cosier than in your bed. But if you're experiencing restless nights and you're feeling sluggish during the day, the answer is a Complete Comfort bed. Complete Comfort has a range of independent living products, but just wait until you try their mattresses. They have adjustable zones, easy controls, and edge support technology. Begin every day with a smile thanks to a Complete Comfort bed. To arrange a free, no-obligation, in-home visit, go to completecomfort.com.au.
When it comes to reducing pain and rebuilding strength, Kaiser leaves nothing to chance. Our university-qualified health professionals don't just treat problem areas. They design personalised training programs using Swiss-engineered machines unique to Kaiser. These machines safely isolate the affected area, test your strength, and help rebuild your muscles for a stronger, more active and healthier life. Kaiser, building strength with precision in Norwood and Glenelg.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
27 after 8 in the lead up to what is going to be a scorching hot Australia Day long weekend this weekend. We're celebrating incredible local SA seafood that we all know and love. This is going to be a lot of fun on Friday morning. Ned McHenry will be bringing his freshest catch to the 5AA kitchen, and you're going to be cooking up a secret dish with him. This is going to be a lot of fun. You can watch along on the Facebook and YouTube live stream.
You know how I've got a one-man war against the term foodie? I hate that term. It's an elitist term. It makes it sound like food is something that is by definition pretentious, expensive, that it's all about showing off. In a very anti-food fashion, I'm going to do a super simple, super cheap recipe that treats our excellent local seafood with the utmost respect. And it's a Rick Stein recipe that he gave me off the top of his head in this very studio about 12 years ago.
Well, you can watch it all on the live stream tomorrow, Facebook and YouTube. And it's all thanks to Brand SA. Support local and buy the best. Buy SA Seafood. Just recapping the breaking news of the last 30 minutes. The coalition is no more. The Nationals leader David Littleproud said the Nationals cannot be part of a shadow ministry under Susan Lee, and that the party will sit by ourselves in the parliament. He was asked a follow-up question by a journalist who said, is that a threat? And David Littleproud said, no, it's done. He said, I rang her about half an hour ago, told her that the party room's decision was final, that unless those 3 senators were reinstated immediately, that she had forced the coalition into an untenable position.
Unmitigated disaster is the vibe on the text line. A lot of messages too about the surge in One Nation. People such as Andrew saying things like this: the One Nation Party is now the party for Conservative voters due to what's been a weak opposition for a long time. I would expect the numbers to rise even further after this. One here saying, what's wrong with the Libs? They clearly should have voted no to this. Jane, on the other hand, can't believe it and says, crikey, I'd never be desperate enough to vote One Nation. And Ian, quoting Oscar Wilde, says, the second implosion of the Liberals is carelessness. Thank you for that, Ian.
Yeah. Susan Lee's released a statement too in which she says, look, why are we doing this today? It should be the National Day of Mourning. And on that front, the Prime Minister is currently conducting a press conference in Canberra. We will be talking more about that on the other side of 5AA News, and certainly taking more of your feedback on what is an extraordinary day in Australian politics. 8223 is the number. You can text us on 0448 08 1395.
I've found Homemade takes the stress out of managing home care services.
Hi, how may I help?
And with their lower rates, they make quality aged care affordable, which is why they're Australia's best value home care. Search homemade support today.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Sunny and 27 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Getting fit, your New Year's resolution? Book a Pilates and group exercise class at Physio Extra. 6 locations.
Nationals leader David Littleproud says the coalition is untenable following the mass resignation of all his frontbench team. Mr Littleproud says his party could not support the Albanese government's hate crime legislation. The bill got through with the help of the senior coalition partner, the Liberals. Mr Littleproud says he warned opposition leader Susan Lee of the consequences if she forced the Nationals' hand.
The National Party acted in good faith all the way along, but we could not be forced into voting for a position. The National Party is our own sovereign party, and Susan Lee cannot force us to vote one way or another.
In a statement, Susan Lee says she's respecting the National Day of Mourning for the victims of the Bondi attack and won't be responding to the situation within the coalition. Well, the hunt is continuing for 3 people following a home invasion at Holden Hill. It happened on Naritha Street shortly before 3:30 this morning. The homeowner was confronted and a grey Toyota Camry stolen. The vehicle was found a short time later, having crashed into nearby parked cars. New high-tech speed and mobile phone cameras are on the way in SA. The Swedish devices can take more than 30 images per second of the same vehicle with 20 megapixel quality. They'll be installed at new locations. Others will replace old devices. The mother of a Canadian teenager found dead on Kagari has spoken of her heartbreak. 19-year-old Piper James was discovered surrounded by dingoes on Monday morning. Authorities say further testing is required to determine her cause of death, despite an autopsy being undertaken on Wednesday. Angela James says she could never have imagined her adventure would end like this.
She quite often would set her alarm to get up and catch the sunrise, which is what she did that day. And she would quite often phone us first thing in the morning. I think that's what she probably got up to do, but she never got the opportunity to.
The US president says his country will remember if Denmark doesn't hand over Greenland. Donald Trump has addressed leaders in Switzerland amid the ongoing tensions surrounding the United States' bid to take control of the territory. After leaving the option on the table for weeks, he has now ruled out using force.
This would not be a threat to NATO. This would greatly enhance the security of the entire alliance, the NATO alliance. The United States is treated very unfairly by NATO. I want to tell you that.
Ghislaine Maxwell has agreed to testify before US Congress. It will be before the committee investigating the federal government's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein case. And the world's biggest nuclear power plant has been restarted. It follows the Fukushima disaster in 2011. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Order a new Gliderol garage door before the end of Feb and the operator is free. T's and C's apply.
It's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Aussie Alex de Minaur has overcome a slow start to beat Serbia's world number 90, Hamad Medjedovic, in 4 sets. De Minaur says he's learning to hang in there with the big hitters to find a way to win.
And I felt like I was able to hang with him and kind of maintain my level.
But the 5 other Aussies in action on day 4 all lost. To football, Adelaide's Dan Curtin will miss at least the first 6 rounds of the season after the club opted for surgery to repair his dislocated kneecap. Ruckman Riley O'Brien telling Rowie and Timmy G they just need others to step up in his absence.
We've got plenty of good guys, and every team has injuries. It's the nature of AFL footy. So we're just glad that he'll be back for the majority of the season, and certainly just getting around him at the moment and ensuring he's in a good spot to attack his rehab and come back fit and firing, which I'm sure he will.
Let's go to cycling. Denmark's Tobias Lund Andersen has won stage 1 of the Tour Down Under in a thrilling sprint finish. The 23-year-old will wear the overall leader's ochre jersey for stage 2, which begins later this morning from Norwood. Well, Adelaide United's women have recorded another win, their 4th in 5 games, after a dramatic come-from-behind 2-1 victory on the road against the Newcastle Jets. The Reds with the winner in the 73rd minute.
And McDermott is up. It's a real scramble and in. Forced over the line and Adelaide lead.
Audio there thanks to Paramount. Now that result lifts United up to 4th on the table and only 3 points off top spot. Meantime, it's been a brilliant morning for the English clubs in the European Champions League. Newcastle smashed PSV Eindhoven 3-0. Liverpool also got up 3-0 against Marseille, while Chelsea left it late but beat Paphos 1-0, the goal coming in the 77th minute.
In the end, Caicedo got the touch, and there is the breakthrough.
Audio there thanks to Stan Sport. Mel, that is the 5AA Sport.
Thank you. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Lynn Andrews Real Estate, experts in commercial and residential property management. lynnandrews.com.au.
Still got awful delays due to a smash at Croydon at the moment. It's on the north-south motorway near Hawker Street. Delays back to the Wingfield interchange. Leave early if you must head that way. Norwood Burst Watermain with delays too. Port Rice Road near Kensington Road and Vista Road's closed due to a previous crash. Lower North East Road near Perseverance Road. Tour down under through Norwood and Uradler in the hills today. Look out for detours around those two places. And got a camera Green Junction Road, Regency Park. The 40 Winks Summer Sale ends Monday. Discover cooling technology and get up to 50% off mattresses and furniture, plus an extra 20% on selected floor stock. T's and C's and exclusions apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
With lots of C-Max trials to choose from, there's something for everyone. Visit cmax.com.au and register today.
Sunny today, 27. Sunny tomorrow, 35. Saturday, mostly sunny, 42. Sunday, sunny, 34. Right now, it's 17 degrees on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Adelaide's local, trusted and truly connected talkback radio station. 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Buckle up and turn it up in the new Mitsubishi Outlander. With luxurious massage seats up front and dynamic Yamaha sound all round. It's a bit rock and roll. Add to that leather seats, panoramic sunroof, bold lines and premium tech, and you're ready to pull out of that rockstar park and get the show on the road. New Mitsubishi Outlander, backed by Mitsubishi 1010 and ready to rock. Available on selected models, T's and C's apply.
Chill out this summer with Barnacle Bill's Seafood Chicken and Chill Meal with a bonus Jalista Gelato for only $35. Mouth-watering butterfish, prawns, calamari, chicken tenderloins, chips and tartare sauce, all freshly prepared together with a delicious 570ml Jalista Gelato. Barnacle Bill's Seafood Chicken and Chill Meal, only $35. And for your convenience, phone ahead, order, collect, don't wait.
Fresh from the sea, it's gotta be Barnacle Bill.
So you live on the gazillionth floor of an apartment building, and you were told no flies up here, mate. Guess what? They're wrong. Flies, mozzies, and even birds. How do you keep them out? How do you keep your pets in? Phantom Screens, that's how. Phantom Screens have retractable screen solutions for almost any situation. Single doors, sliding doors, stackers, you name it. Keep the creepy crawlies out and let the fresh air in. phantomscreens.com.au. Phantom Screens. Now you see it. Now you don't.
Left the bins out a day late? Yeah, it'll smell, but there's always next week. Missed your retro renewal. It happens, but hey, get onto it. Forgot Mum's birthday? That's dangerous. But leaving your pool to go green? That's not on. Fix it now at Pool Supermarket O'Halloran Hill, the mega store with every part, pump, chemical and toy you could need. The biggest range in Adelaide, plus free water testing. poolsupermarket.com.au. Don't leave it too late.
Hey, Jim. You should head home. It's getting late. I can finish up here.
Oh, no, that's quite all right, Sarah.
Really? I got this.
I can't leave you with all this.
Honestly, it's no dramas.
Please! I need to stay. I've really got to stay.
Are you okay, Jim?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Working late or avoiding home? Book a free 15-minute call with Resolve Divorce today.
CMAX Clinical Research is seeking healthy volunteers to join a clinical trial that could help advance the future of metabolic health. If you're aged 18 to 65 and generally healthy, you might be eligible to help study a potential new treatment for metabolic syndrome. Spend 8 nights at CMAX in Adelaide CBD, attend 1 follow-up visit and get paid for your time. Ready to make your mark on medical research? Apply today at cmax.com.au.
5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
20 minutes to 9. It's the most anticipated bad smell in South Australia. Smelony, the corpse flower at the Botanic Gardens, still hasn't flowered. We're going to find out why. We'll be speaking with an expert before 9 o'clock this morning. Part of the issue is it's still growing. Apparently it has to stop growing before it flowers. And they go in and measure it in the morning and it grew another centimetre.
Does it grow that far?
It's the equivalent of the groundhog, I think. You know, people wait. It's going to see a shadow.
Is that a job that you covet or you'd be repulsed by, being in charge of measuring the corpse flower?
An infamously smelly plant.
Yeah. Does it smell when it's not flowering? All these and other questions will be answered.
We'll find out more.
We're just getting ready. Love to hear from our listeners. What's your Saturday strategy, folks? How are you going to deal with the 42 degrees? It's not so much that it's just Saturday; it's the entire weekend. I mean, Sunday's barely any major respite from it, and then we're back into it again on Monday with 41. But where are you going? What are you doing?
It's Monday night into Tuesday morning that I'm least looking forward to out of the whole thing.
Oh, there's going to be some tired, smelly kids being picked up Tuesday afternoon from the first day back at school.
28 the overnight low, having come out of a period of 42, 34, 40. Then you get to Tuesday, 28 the low.
All of our houses are going to be like pizza ovens, folks.
It's going to be a disaster. If you do have a good strategy for dealing with it, we're all ears this morning. 8223 0000 is the number. Today is a National Day of Mourning to honour the victims and all those impacted by the Bondi Beach terrorist attack. The government have put out some recommendations about how you might like to mark the occasion, including leaving a candle on your doorstep or window. There'll be a minute's silence at 6:31. Adelaide time tonight. Norman Schuler is from the Jewish Community Council of South Australia and joins us now. Norm, good morning to you.
Good morning, David, and good morning, Will, and good morning to all 5AA listeners.
Thanks for joining us, Norm. How is your community getting on barely 5 weeks after the terrible events in Bondi?
It's learning to survive, and that there will be another day. Those images of that we have in our minds, what took place at Bondi, will never be erased from our minds. Certain individuals there that were murdered, it beggars belief that could happen in Australia, even though we're a civilised country. And, it's paramount in our minds. We've got to get on, and we've got to make Australia a better place for all Australians.
Yeah, absolutely.
Norm, I think rightfully, I imagine the community would feel let down by the powers that be, by the representatives and the federal government. Is there any sense that the community's been let down in the aftermath by the broader Australian community?
Well, it was let down right from, let us say, October the 9th.
Sure.
When we were displaced at the Opera House, the forecourt of the Opera House. Opera House was lit up in blue and white, and the Australian Jewish community, the New South Wales Jewish community, were having a vigil. They were told to leave by the police because they felt they could not defend them against the number of Palestinians coming there. That is intrinsically wrong. That should never have happened. The police needed to bring in reinforcement or bring in the army, whatever it may be. From then on, it was downhill. You had the preachers in the streets preaching hatred, preaching death. They were talking about that. That was broadcast right around the country. The media were broadcasting the fellow in Sydney went behind so is a Jew and he must be killed. And that sort of thing should have not been allowed to occur. And that is now what I think has been fixed to a certain extent in Parliament yesterday. And the organisations like Hizb ut-Tahrir and neo-Nazis have been prescribed. And these are organisations that peddle hate, that sow division, and promote racial vilification. And this is totally un-Australian. People come to Australia to get away from something. They want to better their lives. This is not the Australia. It's very shortly. It'll be 60 years since I've been here in a couple of months' time. And when I first came, the cohesive community, there are certain things, parts of that of course, were minor negatives, but we didn't have these enormous outpourings of hate and willing death upon certain people.
Norm, for people who do want to make some sort of gesture in solidarity with Australia's Jewish community and more broadly the fact that this was an outrage to all Australians who value peace and human respect and dignity, what sort of things can we do tonight? What's the format for this commemoration?
The commemoration will be both a priest and a rabbi leading prayers together in St. Peter's Church in North Adelaide, and there obviously will be a candle lit. The government has suggested that people will light a candle this evening at home, put it in their doorway or their window. And you may recollect on the previous interview with you, post-Bondi, I said on every interview that I did, please, when you go home tonight, light a candle in the sanctity of your own home and just think about the people who can't do that right at the moment and the families that are suffering. And the people who sent me photographs of them doing that, it was heartwarming. And since then, since Bondi, the outpouring of understanding and sympathy from many Australians, really, really heartwarming.
Norm Schuller, the head of the Jewish Community Council of South Australia, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
A lot of good texts coming through with suggestions. Will we put the call out earlier? How are you going to deal with the heat over the weekend? I'll tell you what, spare a thought for Di. She says, we're on Nankita Road at Mount Compass, so we'll be spending a very nervous weekend with our sprinklers going. Andrew says, I'll be staying inside, having a few beers with the air conditioner and the tennis on. Sounds like a good strategy. Jackie, I'll be walking the dog at 6 a.m. I'll be home by 6:30 a.m. trying to keep the garden and the humans alive. Helen simply says, our great mate Helen in Glenelg North, she says, easy, I'm doing bugger all.
Yeah, that's a good strategy, Helen. And Trish, harking back to our comments earlier from our Tarcoola listener, says, I'll be heading to Tarcoola to take advantage of their cool change. The cool change, for those that missed it earlier, was that it dropped, in the forecast says it's a top of 48 one day, a late change comes in, and the next day the top is 45. 12 minutes to 9, let's check traffic. We'll be back with more shortly. This summer, the feeling starts with a test drive at the new Jarvis Toyota Brighton Road.
Good news, delays clearing from the earlier smash at Croydon, the north-south motorway near Hawker Street. Still got quite heavy delays with those burst water mains at Norwood, Portrice Road at Kensington Road, and Vista Road closed to that previous crash near Perseverance Road. Day 6 of the tour down under today around Norwood and up through the hills at Uradla. Look out for detours through there with the camera Francis Road, Wingfield. Take back dinner time with Hello Fresh. No 2 weeknights taste the same. Now with more recipes than ever before. Fire up your weeknights at hellofresh.com.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA is celebrating what makes Adelaide truly special. Local businesses across our city, north, south, east and west.
Tracy Elsworthy is here, Cafe Hoppability in Kenttown. This is part of Holistic Care SA, which we'll get to, but can you tell us first with the cafe, what's the name mean?
The Hopper bit is a cafe. Ability is about bringing ability to people with disabilities to have meaningful employment.
How many staff have you got working here at the cafe?
We now have 5 baristas. One's a sandwich king, we call him, and a brownie king, and also a chef.
So your people here with the disabilities, they are taught and mentored and I guess guided by the chef?
100%, and he builds confidence with them. He teaches them different different cake skills.
Now, we should say you don't just do the best coffee and cake in town, but you also do corporate catering too.
Yes, so we've got a few government organisations now who've approached us to do their catering, and the guys just love doing that.
So if any corporates need sandwiches or wraps or fruit platters or cakes, you're all sorted.
We're your cafe to supply them.
Where do we find you and how can we enjoy this food?
We're in Kent Town and we're open from 8 o'clock in the morning to 3 p.m. in the afternoon, Monday to Friday.
Before I let you go, Holistic Care SA, other amazing things that you offer for the community?
Yeah, we're an NDIS provider, so we provide support independent living.
People, if they get on your socials, can learn more about the people that work here.
Yeah, if you get on our Instagram, we've got a bit of a story that they've shared and interview on there on how their journey has been with employment over the years and what the cafe has done for them.
Well, it's amazing work you're doing. Let's urge everyone to come in. The best coffee in town. Tracy Elsewhere, the owner-director, Holistic Care SA and Cafe Hopability.
FIVEAA, supporting local, celebrating SA.
Well, isn't this ideal? Prime position on the deck, blue skies, smooth seas. How good are cruises?
Make your cruise booking a breeze, and you could win a $5,000 REA travel voucher for your next holiday. Search REA Cruise today.
Whoa, watch the wings.
T's and C's, exclusions and eligibility criteria apply. Promoter is REA. To enter, book and pay a deposit on a new ocean or river cruise with REA Travel by 28 February 2026. Full T's and C's available from travel.rea.com.au.
50 scorching summers, 50 freezing winters, and only one Morford Air helped us through it all. Adelaide's own homegrown family air conditioning company, Morford Air, has kept South Australians cool and warm for over 50 years. That's half a century of comfort. So when it's too hot or cold to bear, reach for the Morford Air. morfordair.com.au.
Morford.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
9 minutes to 9. Our next guest has one of the best titles, I think, of any guest we've had on in quite some time. Matt Coulter is the horticultural curator for plant propagation, joining us on 5AA Breakfast to talk about Smellany. Smellany by name, but not yet by nature, waiting for the corpse flower to flower. Matt, good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you going?
Well, actually wanted to clarify that. Does it smell before it flowers?
No. So it's only for the 2-day period that it opens. So there's no smell at the moment. But yeah, the time when it actually starts to open, when the smell will start being produced, and it'll be over a 2-day period, then be finished. So it's quite a quick time that it happens.
So, Matt, the reason that the flower produces this stench, is it a pollination strategy to attract insects?
Exactly. It's all about pollination. So the plant has both male and female flowers on it, but it can't pollinate itself. So it's evolved so it actually doesn't inbreed. So basically, to get the pollen from a different flower to come into it, it actually has this smell. So it engages the insect. It might be somewhere where it might lay its eggs on the carcass thing of a dead animal. So it'll go out into the forest and it'll go on one flower and then come to the other flower, and then the pollen gets dispersed that way. So it's the only way it can get pollinated. And you have to think like it can take anywhere up to 10 years to get the first flower, and it's only got that one night they can get pollinated. So it puts all this energy into it to actually make sure it happens.
It's just the most incredible plant. What sort of plant is it? Is it a bromeliad? What is it?
No, it's what we call an aroid. So it's in the people may know things like Madonna lilies or philodendrons. So it's in that aroid plant family. So it's basically a tropical plant family. There's a couple that occur in northern Australia, a couple species, but generally it's in Asia and through to Africa. But this plant's endemic to Sumatra, any place in the world that it occurs. Yeah, and as you said, it's quite an amazing plant, and I'm really fascinated by it, and I think people are as well.
Looks like something out of Day of the Triffids a bit, doesn't it?
It does a bit, doesn't it? Yeah.
I just hope it doesn't come to life.
Yeah.
What sort of crowds are you expecting?
Anytime we show, we get anywhere between 5,000 to 10,000 people, and that could be sometimes lining up for 2 to 3 hours. So it's quite amazing to see people interested, and people are really fascinated by it because it's really quite different, and because it comes from the tropics. Here in South Australia, really the Botanic Gardens is the only place that you would be able to see this plant. It can grow in the northern parts of Australia, but in South Australia it wouldn't grow outside our specialised glasshouses. And we have a nursery up at the Mount Lofty Botanic Gardens where we house these plants, and when they're ready to flower, that's when we bring them down. So we've got a a climate-controlled glasshouse to simulate the Sumatran rainforest.
So is it in the glasshouse in the centre of the gardens where the Amazon lilies are?
No, it's in the big bicentennial conservatory. So,
oh, right.
Yeah, so it's in that big one, and that's a really good space for people to come and see it, because as you're sort of moving down the line, you get to see it from quite a distance away, so, and it's sort of like an anticipation before you get to see it. And other places show up as, you basically just wait outside the glasshouse and you come in and then you go out. So I think the Bicentennial Conservatory is a really good space to be able to view it. Yeah.
That's awesome. So the Hackney Road entrance is the one you want to get in there.
The Plane Tree Drive entrance, that's correct. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, good on you,
It's an
mate.
amazing plant though, isn't it? Yeah,
How tall is it?
It's the measurement this morning had it, it's over it's about 2.15 metres.
Wow.
Crikey.
And there's another 70 centimetres below that. That's the roots and the tuber. So if you put those two together, you're looking at something that's like maybe 2.8 metres tall.
Hard to fit it in the green bin when it's done its business after.
That's it, isn't it? Yeah. Another amazing thing about when you look at it, like 10 weeks ago, all that structure would have been below the soil. So all that 2.1 metres, so that's all happened in a 10-week period. And in the growth phase that it does, in like the 2-week period, it grew 1.2 metres in 2 weeks.
Gee, crikey, you stood there long enough, you just about see it move. That's amazing.
It's really incredible plant. Yeah,
that's amazing. Matt, that's amazing. Why so many thousands of people will turn up to see it when it ultimately does flower and smell it. Matt Coulter, the horticulture curator for plant propagation. You can go and see it.
I've never seen it.
The Bicentennial Conservatory. You're right. It looks like it's been dropped off the set from the 1970s William Shatner Star Trek show, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like it's like the low budge version, made out of rubber or something.
Something out of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'd be fighting something made out of cardboard boxes covered in alfoil.
It's just an extraordinary.
I tell you what if it flowers on Saturday, though? How hot would it be inside the Bicentennial Conservatory?
You won't smell it because everyone else will smell worse.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's have a look at the fuel situation. It's better to be a member with RAA Road Service. Leroy's at Monopara. How about this? $1.45.9. That's a great price. BPX Convenience Elizabeth Downs, $1.47.9. And the Yugo West Hindmarsh, $1.49.5. The cheapest diesel, the Yugo at West Hindmarsh is pretty cheap as well. Tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to want to stick around wherever you are, whatever you're doing, to hear David Penberthy's take on Rick Stein's famous fish dish, all in the celebration of South Australian caught produce. Ned McHenry's going to join us in the studio. You can watch along on the Facebook and YouTube live stream. It's going to be a hell of a lot of fun as we celebrate Australian seafood, South Australian seafood, in the lead up to Australia Day. Thanks to Brand SA. Support local and buy the best. Buy SA Seafood. We'll catch you tomorrow morning from 6.